Hello, Black Eagles. Welcome back to the Black Eagles podcast YouTube channel. Thank you very much for being a loyal listener and tuning in each and every week to our episodes. With the new year fast approaching, we have a special offer for you. Not only will you get 7 days for free when you go to patreon.com/Beşiktaş podcast and become a Black Eagle VIP member, you will now also get 75% off on your first month going from December 1st to January 5th, 2025. So if you subscribe between the 1st, which is already past us, and the 5th of January, you will get your first month for just 50 cents. What will you get in return? You will, of course, gain access to our Black Eagle VIP podcast, which is a weekly podcast. But last week, I think I did about 5 or 6 episodes covering all the ins and outs of Beşiktaş, with Hasan Arat stepping down, Hüseyin Yücel becoming the new president, Samet Aybaba's press conference, all of that. We tackled it last week in a Black Eagle VIP podcast that you will gain access to. Of course, you will also gain early access to all the video content that we put out on our channel here on YouTube. And on top of that, you will also gain access to an audio-only file of those videos. So if you're one of those people who prefers to listen to everything on the go, then you will also gain access to the audio file of those videos. If you don't have YouTube Premium, that's always a nice added bonus. And of course, you will get a shout out at the end of our live shows each and every week. Thank you very much for listening and enjoy the show. You're listening and or watching to the Black Eagles podcast, a Beşiktaş talk show.
Ahmet Dursun Sergen aldı. Sergen Bülent yan yana. Sergen Bülent. Sergen. Orada Tümer var. Tümer'e doğru aksiyonlar gitti. Tümer topu aldı. Sergen aldı. Gol! Gol! Sergen attı. Sergen attı. Şampiyonluk geldi. Sergen attı. Şampiyonluk geldi.
İbrahim'in pası. Roma. Şimdi Ahmet. İkinci gole gidiyor Beşiktaş. Ahmet. Ve gol!
Hello, Black Eagles. Welcome back to the Black Eagles podcast. As you can see on the side of my screen there, iyi günde, kötü günde ama sadece kötü günde var. There's only bad days right now, it seems like. We go from one bad day into the next, coming off of a defeat in Europe. And now, when you thought the Black Eagles couldn't sink any lower, they somehow managed to surprise us all and do so by losing to bottom of the table previously winless Adana Demirspor, a team that has essentially already been relegated, only accumulated 2 points. They got -3 points on top of that, so they were essentially on -1. Now they're on 2. They had only gotten 2 draws before this game, only scored 4 goals. Somehow they managed to add a third of their total goals to that today by beating us 2-1. Hello, my name is Kaan Bayazit, and as always, I am joined by my co-hosts, Sinan Schwarting from New York City, who I think has a minor cold, or is that Kartal?
That's Kartal. I'm good. I'm past mine.
and Kartal, of course, from Glasgow, Scotland. Just trying to make sure if I have both of your names. Yeah, I do. Guys,
I don't have a cold, but I have a different form of illness at the moment. You could call it a mental health crisis.
I understand. I can understand.
Beşiktaş induced.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hello, all. I've got my little Beşiktaş espresso here.
Beşiktaş espresso. Yeah.
I need to wake up.
I think we need something strong.
I need my energy for this. What do you think, guys? How you guys doing? How you feel? This is a low point for sure. I thought Maccabi was as low as we could get because of like what it entailed and how it happened. But
that's a lower point.
I think we found a new low. I think we found a new low.
But yeah, going into this game, what were your guys' expectations? Kata, let me start with you. What did you feel going into this match? Did you feel confident we'd get a result today?
I thought we'd get a narrow win against a really bad football team, which isn't saying much, but I thought we'd at least get a narrow win. So to lose without putting up much of a fight at all for the first 60 minutes of the game, I thought the first 60 minutes of this football game were diabolical. Apart from a few players, there was really no one that showed much intent. Like maybe a couple of players. Yeah. I think Mr. showed intent in the first half, Semi a wee bit as well. I mean, sorry, his execution wasn't good, but I think he maybe showed a bit of intent. But really, I think even he tried stuff, man, but he couldn't do it. There was a wee bit of intent.
The only one who was trying stuff, I thought, was Rafa.
It's a hell of an indictment when you played better when you were a man down than you played with 11 men for 60 minutes. I mean, of course, you're a goal down and you expect some sort of fight back, but the idea that with a man down we could still put more threat on their goal.
We started playing about 5-10 minutes before we scored the first goal. So we were 11 men and we almost made it 2 each.
Yeah.
Straight after the goal before the red card. So I think we would have continued in that same vein had we not got the red card, and maybe we would have done more. Like, I wouldn't say we're better after the red card. The improvement was before that, but
no. I meant we were better after the red card than we were for the first 60 minutes, like you had said.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, and I think Musrati almost scored, even though we were a man down, right? That header.
Yeah, the header.
We were already a man
down. Chance at the end. He could have had a hat trick today, honestly. Yeah. I mean, I say that without any joking or anything. Like he legitimately could have had a hat trick today, but
no. I laugh when I'm uncomfortable, and so I'm going to be laughing a lot this episode. It's just like I can't believe, I don't know where we are, how did we get here, what's going on.
Where were the mistakes, do you think, guys? Like, obviously, I think, the players. There's a lot of players out there. Like, I mean, I'm gonna beat my dead horse again. Masuaku, what is he doing on that second goal? I honestly don't know anymore. I mean, granted, you guys know this. I've been saying for, I think, over a year, maybe 2 years, Yusuf Sarri is a player I would sign. And last January, when the new board came in, Samet Aybaba made some ridiculous statements saying that Yusuf Sarri is a counter player. Granted, okay, today, he was dangerous largely on the counter, but look at the chances he created today. He created the second goal. He creates that red card position. He had multiple positions where he's constantly looking to take on his opponent. And how often have we said this season that is something we lack? A winger that has the balls to take on his opponent consistently and beats them consistently. And I've watched Yusuf Sarri for a long time. Watched him at Trabzonspor, never really understood why they let him go. Yeah, he's wasteful, but he's quick and he's good on the ball. He creates danger, he creates chaos. You can compare it a little bit to Saint-Maximin. You can compare it maybe to Nkudu a little bit. I think this would be... I'm not saying he would be a star or a starter. I think in today's Beşiktaş he would be a starter, but he's not the player that's going to lift you to that next level. Although, for us, probably it would be because our next level is so low. But we lack players like this so much. And then you have a club like Adana Demirspor who can't pay their bills. And they have a player like this. Why is he still there? Why have you not snapped him up already? Instead of paying almost 3 million euros for Can Keleş in the summer. Why don't you sign Yusuf Sarri? Okay, Yusuf Sarri is never going to be a world beater, but look what he did today. And look at all the times in the past as well. Like, I don't understand that. Like, this is a no-brainer for me.
Weren't we linked with Yusuf Barasi also in the off-season? Like, towards the end of the summer?
I don't know. But that's not a player I would waste my money on. But Yusuf Sarri...
I was just curious, because he torched us. I think he had a part in both goals, right? He assisted
that was Yusuf Sarri who assisted the second. I think so, at least.
It was
Yeah,
Yusuf
it
Sarri.
was Yusuf Sarri. The problem is that
Well, I have Yusuf. Oh, the assist, but the goal was by Yusuf Barassi.
yeah, the goal was Yusuf Barassi, yeah. But it was Yusuf Sarri who was torturing us essentially, and he did this all the time for Trabzon when he was playing for Trabzonspor. And the problem with him was that he missed a lot of chances. But that's comparable to Kerem Aktürkoğlu, comparable to Rafa now. Like, you need to have a certain ability to get into those chances in the first place. And that is exactly the thing. We lack so much right now. I don't think this is a hot take, but I legitimately think Yusuf Sarri is a better player, a better winger than Rashica.
Of course.
So
Yeah.
So
I mean, honestly, John Kelesh might be too.
no,
but that's a whole other conversation.
but why are we spending 5 million euros on Rashica, 2.75 million euros on Jan Kelesh? You could have signed Yusuf Sarri. Okay, if you would have signed him 2 years ago, you would have paid a lot more. But this summer, you could have probably snapped him up for 500,000, maybe 1 million. Hell, maybe 2 million, but still, you'd get 2 million for Yusuf Sarri is not a waste. 2.75 million for Jan Kelesh. And you know what? I mean, Jan Kelesh today, I thought he had a few moments where it wasn't too bad, but I mean, you can tell that that's not a Beşiktaş level player. But Yusuf Sarri, I mean, in our group chat, I feel like I've been saying it for 2-3 years, 4 years maybe. I don't remember when Adana Demirspor signed him, but I remember when they signed him that I was like, why didn't we sign him? That's a great squad depth signing. And right now he would be a starter.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean.
Okay, boys.
Sorry,
Other than
the chat here.
yeah, other than the lack of commitment from the players, where do you think the mistakes lied? If we look, for example, we're gonna start with we'll get to your comments in a little bit, guys, but let's start with the lineup. Why is Masuaku starting again? Why is he starting?
This is what I don't understand. Like, I think Bakhtiar put in a fairly good showing against Bodo Glimt.
Yeah.
I know. I was curious why he didn't come in.
So why is he being cut straight away? Like, Masuaku has cost us time and time again this season. Why is Bakhtiar, who had an assist, a very good assist at that against Bodo Glimt? I thought some are putting the second goal on him, but I don't think that's his fault. I think he's covered the player as well as he can there, and he's just gotten unlucky. I think he had a good game. Why is he being cut?
And what we lacked was what he provides in that first half, right? Like, his energy and his motor are kind of what we needed, because especially from Masuaku's side, there was just like a vacancy there. Anyway, yeah, let's do this lineup so we can get back to our faces. All right, we've got Demirspor, of course. Are they just Demirspor, by the way? I keep seeing them referred to as just Demirspor rather than Adana Demirspor. Anyway. So their goalkeeper is 16-year-old Deniz Dunmezer. He played the game of his life today.
Yeah, definitely did. He started a few games in the beginning of the season, including against Fener and against Gala. And against Gala, he had a massive howler. And of course, today he plays the match of his life.
The next Urjan, maybe.
So much time. I think he was at it.
Yeah, dude, he should have been taken out of the game. Actually, you can't be injured like 7 times.
I don't believe he was legit.
No, he wasn't injured. He was.
Of course not. Of course not. No, but I mean, there should be like a rule about that. If you fuck around like that too many times, you gotta leave, because it's like, dude, if you're hurt, you're hurt. If not, like, stop it. Yeah. This is garbage. Yeah. Anyway, on their back line, Tolga Kalender, 23-year-old Turk. Next to Semih Güler, 30-year-old Turk. He's been around the block, I suppose. Their left back, Abdul Samit Burak, 28-year-old Turk, opposite Arda Kurtulan, who's 22 years old and a very Turkish name, but apparently he's Albanian, which, that's interesting, I guess. İzzet Çelik, who was a bit of a turd, I have to say, in this match. A 20-year-old Turk. He played in the center of their midfield. Next to another turd, 21-year-old Angolan by the name of Maestro, which is it's like a meme or something. But They were both petulant and really annoying all match. I guess maybe that's good. That's what they need. But anyway, Yusuf Barasi played in that sort of number 10 role, 21-year-old Turk. And on the wings, as we've discussed, 26-year-old Yusuf Sari opposite Ali Kol, who's 23, also Turkish. And all of them played behind Kazaki, 29-year-old Abat Aimbetov, who also scored. He scored their second.
Did he score?
And then for us,
I was gonna say I didn't even see him play. I didn't notice him at all.
He's the one who scored the one that Yusuf Sari set up for
I
him.
thought that was Yusuf. Was it Yusuf Barasa on the corner? Or?
Yeah, Yusuf Barasa scored the first or the second. I don't remember. We'll go over it in a moment. Beşiktaş's lineup. Of course, we had Mert Günok in goal, who he made quite a few saves in the beginning there.
Yeah. He had to make way too many saves in this game.
Yeah. Emirhan Topçu played next to Tayyip Talha Sanuç with Svensson and Masuaku on the flanks. Salih Uçan played in the back with Al Musrati. Salih Uçan, I think, might have played his worst 85 minutes in a Beşiktaş shirt. Rafa Silva played up in front of them with Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain starting as a left winger opposite John Keleş with Semih Kılıçsoy up top. Interesting.
It's not an excuse, but how much did we miss Jetson today?
Massively.
Shouldn't need Jetson in a game like this.
No, that's what I'm saying. It shouldn't be an excuse, but you saw it immediately that they missed Jetson's energy.
He's the sort of fulcrum of what we do. It seems increasingly. On a bad day, he's the guy who can give you a silver lining, and on a good day, he's the guy who can win it for you. And today we had neither. So there's that. Shall we dive right into some comments?
Yeah, let's do that.
So we had Lumber Aurelian says tough days. Indeed. Boy, the group chat's pretty active I thought this was going to be like a black hole in the chat today. Ender Kaya says the season ended for the squad after Fener win. That's what I see. Yeah, I mean, sure looks like it. Umer Gunal, find Masuaku home in Adana. He can't come back to Istanbul. Yeah, he shouldn't be allowed.
I mean, he should have been thrown off the bus months ago, maybe. Like, I genuinely don't have the energy. But if anyone out there has the energy to count the amounts of goals that he alone has cost us this season and how that translates to how many points that translates, I would love to know.
Yeah. Agreed. From the Heart videos, we are cooked. Yeah, I mean, not much we can say about that other than agree. Then he follows that up with, our wingbacks are just too shite. We don't have a reliable striker after Cheeto. Those are true. Svensson's been a little bit... I mean, he had a good game against Bodo Glimt. But he's been off in some of our other recent matches. He was good against Fener.
Was he bad today? I don't know. I didn't notice him being...
He was bad in the first half. He was actually better in the second half, so I don't know.
I feel like they attacked mostly over the other wing, I felt, so I didn't really notice him defensively that much other than he got stuck in.
He was like, I think he was the one who was beaten to the cross on the second goal. Or the first, I don't remember.
Was Masuaku, and the first one was a corner.
No, he's the one who... Masuaku was the guy who allowed the cross, but Svensson was the guy who was sliding in and kind of like was beaten to it. Like the guy who actually put his foot on the ball. Anyway, I noticed a few mistakes from him in the first half, but I actually thought he was better in the second. Umer Gunal says, bro, you put Yusuf Sari in this team, he'll play like John Keleş. And if John Keleş was playing for Adana Demir, you would say we should get John Keleş.
No, I wouldn't. John very slow. He's got no pace about him at all.
That is not true. I mean, since day one I have said John Keleş has no business being a Beşiktaş player. Everyone who's been following this podcast for a while knows that. I was always against that signing. I've always been for the signing of Yusuf Sari because he has pace, he has skill on the ball, and he has explosiveness, and we lack that. The only explosive player we have is Rafa. Nobody else has any explosive power other than Simi has a little bit. But nobody
I
else
think
has
Jet-
it. Yeah, Jetson. But Jetson, this one isn't even explosive because he comes from so deep. You know?
But he does pick up the ball and can go on some runs as well.
Yeah. But he doesn't like when I talk about explosive power, I mean taking somebody on, beating your man, getting a crossing, getting a shot in, something like that. Jetson doesn't. That's not really Jetson. You know, like Rasicka is somebody who should be doing that but doesn't. Joao Mario, okay, he's not a winger, but we brought him in to be one, so and he doesn't offer that. Jan Kelesh, he had one cross where I was like, yeah, okay, that's decent. You know, he cut it and then he crossed it in. And if you do that,
Yeah, I was gonna say.
yeah, if you do
That
that,
was my one defense about him and his pace, was he actually outpaced that guy on that play, beat him, got the step out ahead of him, and then the cross. I think he actually would have probably assisted a goal, but someone deflected it on the cross. But
if you do
that was a pretty decent moment.
that's
I'll
like
give him.
Irfan Can, for example, does that a lot, cut in and then cross it in, and it's difficult to defend those balls. If you do that consistently and you do it enough, you're definitely gonna get a couple of assists on that in a season. The problem with Can as well is like in the first half especially, it felt like he was always running into a forest of players. Like he was getting the ball and then just there was this one moment in the second half where Musrati plays a really good ball over the top. Can gets on the end of it, but then he just he goes tunnel vision and he doesn't really keep the oversight. He doesn't find a teammate. Maybe the teammates could have done better by attacking the ball more aggressively, but it's obviously we shouldn't be criticizing him too much. But I don't agree with what Ömer is saying that Yusuf Sarri in this team would just be another Can Kelesh, because Yusuf Sarri, when he played for Trabzonspor as well, and he was playing for Trabzonspor not in the best times necessarily. He always had that. He always had that explosiveness. He always had that speed, those dribbles, beating his man consistently, getting into scoring chances because of that, getting into assisting positions because of that. The only problem with him, like I said, is he's a wasteful player. But I would gladly take somebody like that right now. But because at the moment, we don't create chances, guys. Rafa Silva is getting a lot of criticism right now from a certain section of the fans because he misses chances. And you know what? If he missed 3-4 chances per game, I would be also criticizing him. But he's missing like one chance, a big chance per game. The problem is we don't create enough chances. Look at if you watch Galatasaray, if you see Osimhen, he misses 2-3 chances per game, but he gets 4 or 5. We don't create 4 or 5 chances like that. If anything, Rafa is the only player who is consistently making good runs in behind and getting on the end of some of those balls. Nobody else is doing it. If we didn't have Rafa, we wouldn't even have those chances. He's essentially creating them himself with his movement and his pace and his skill on the ball. Take him away and you have last season where we didn't create shit at all. You can criticize it, and I understand the frustration. I also wish he would have scored that chance. I also wish he would have scored the chance against Bodo and against Fener. I wish. But, yeah, give him 2-3 chances per game, he's gonna get a goal, but he doesn't get those chances because we don't create shit.
My only pushback, and this is, Yusuf Sarri aside, this has nothing to do with him. I don't think Can Kelesh played poorly enough today that I could understand why he hasn't played at all this season.
Yeah.
Or like why Onur Bulut started in that last match, that's my only defense, my only pushback regarding Can Kelesh. But yeah, he's an entirely different player from Yusuf Sarri, like player profile wise. So I don't know about all that. Anyway, Ender Kaya, next comment says, guys, we have big problems in the center. Actually, let me first. So Umer Gunal replied to you guys about that. He said, how can you not say that? Joao Mario had 20 goals last season, but now he can't even get a pass out.
It was 2 years
Why
ago.
wouldn't Yusuf Sarri be affected too?
Yeah, it was 2 years ago.
And 13 of those were penalties.
There you go.
Okay. To end Kaya, he says, guys, we have big problems in the center backs. That's why we can't defend properly and can't support the midfield.
I mean, I definitely agree that the pairing of Emirhan and Tayyip isn't solid. If you when Felix and Emirhan or Felix and Paulista were playing, there was a lot more a lot more calm, a lot more security, more aggression even. I feel like Emirhan was able to play in a more aggressive way whenever he played with one of those guys. But even then, we conceded stupid goals because we give away individual mistakes. Masuaku. Earlier in the season, I think I was saying we have a solid back line. It's just Masuaku is costing us goals too often. Now, the last couple of games with both Felix and Paulista. Well, Paulista has been out in and out all season. Yeah, I agree that we don't really have a good back line, but to say we have a problem at the center, like I feel like every season we are looking for central defenders. I think it's Gabriel Paulista, he's always gonna be injured. I think he's always gonna have injury issues. But Felix, God forbid, let's hope he doesn't become a chronic player. Yeah, I don't necessarily think then we have that big of an issue at the back. It's just right now with the Tayyip and Emirhan. Honestly, I think Bakhtiar next to Emirhan would have been better. I think Tayyip, I don't think he's been good, honestly. I'm glad he's been getting some chances to get some football in again, but he's not the type from before the Fenerbahce derby when he got injured. He's just not the same player anymore. And maybe he needs time, I hope so. But they're also both only 24 years old. And central defenders, usually you want some more experience there. I feel like you want maybe to pair one young with a more experienced player. And more experience doesn't need to mean 35 years old, but 27, 28, 29 maybe. As to what Ömer is saying, of course, Ömer, if you drop Yusuf Sarri in this shithole of a team right now, in the current stage, you're probably right that he would sink with the ship. The difference is, I think if you start the season with him, you have a lot less issues in those first couple of months where we were all of us were saying the wingers. I think if you would have on deadline day, instead of João Mario, sign Yusuf Sarri, okay, there's the backstage stuff that happened, but I think we would be in a better place right now because we'd actually have another decent winger on the team.
But even going back to that sinking ship analogy, he's playing for a team just now that has -1 points. Well, now 2. So can you really say this out with the ship when he's on a ship that's already at the depths of the ocean?
True.
I actually, guys, I want to go back to the central back conversation real quick because I'm trying to think. So in this game today, which of the goals was on the central defenders? I mean, obviously Tayyip Talha getting the red card was pretty decisive, although that didn't really result in a goal.
Mistake.
Say again?
That's never a red card.
I was gonna say. I mean, we could talk about that in a sec. But real quick, but first, guys, I want to know: did you feel like either of the goals that were scored against us today were a result of the central defenders? Like,
no. But I don't think it's only.
Right.
I think it's not only conceding goals, but it's also
like linking defense and midfield and stuff like that.
Yeah, it's pushing, pressing through, winning the ball back, playing in good. Honestly, I thought Emirhan had a couple of really good openings and a couple of good build-ups throughout the game. It's just Tayyip, I feel like, I don't think he plays direct enough. I don't think he has the confidence in him right now. They're definitely not the main issue. I definitely don't think so. But I also don't think that that they together are at us. Emirhan needs some more experience, I think. Tayyip as well, and Tayyip is coming off of a bad injury. I think it's tough to pair those guys right now. They definitely aren't the biggest issue. The biggest issue today, I think Salih said it after the game, it was just, in the Fener derby, they fought and they wanted to get a result. And today, I think it's kind of sad, really, that the only guy who is running his ass off until the final seconds is Rafa. He's a fucking foreigner. You would think he would be the one who throws in the towel and goes like, fuck it.
Yeah, what are we even doing here?
Yeah. It was.
By the way, when I keep looking this way, it's because I'm, the Galatasaray and Trabzon matches on, so I'm just That's what I'm looking at. By the way, Trabzon just tied it 2-2, so that's
great.
Update.
They can catch up.
Yeah.
They can catch up on us.
What? Or no, it means we can still catch Galatasaray.
Oh yeah, definitely, definitely.
Okay, we have a bunch more comments now. Let me get to those. I lost it. Here we go. There was someone new here. Cengizhan Arat said, "That's an interesting last name." Arat Bey. He said, "We've been poor offensively for 3 or 4 seasons now.
Yeah.
We just don't get anyone up front.
Yeah.
Gala attack with 6 players
Yeah.
around the box.
Yeah.
We have 1, max 2.
Yeah. I've been saying this for
And
ages
that's,
as well.
I've been saying it as well because the team has been one-dimensional.
Yeah.
I'll tell you why. Because before Rafa, you just had Gazelle. There was
Yeah.
no one else that was creating the chances in the team.
Yeah.
And now it's Rafa, but you don't have a winger.
Yeah.
You have more than one dimension to your play, man.
Yeah.
Like the best Beşiktaş teams that we've seen in recent years. Like think about the different players that they had that could create.
Yeah.
I mean, you Sosa, Olsan, Quaresma, Gökhan Töre, even Olcay Şahan, very good one-touch passer.
Babel,
You
as
had
well.
all
Babel could create too. He was more a finisher, but he created it as well.
a finisher, but he could do it.
He could
He
beat.
wasn't like
He took on his man. He beat someone. He took a shot. Whatever. He created danger. They couldn't leave that wing. You know, they couldn't just say, "Oh, okay, forget about that wing." You know, they have
Yeah.
to. They have to focus they have to divide their energy and focus their attention over multiple facets. And it started going downhill when we became Quaresma ball. When we started playing Quaresma ball. That's the point when Beşiktaş, the peak Beşiktaş from the mid-2010s, when that went downhill was when the only thing we had left in our arsenal was Quaresma. That's when it started.
And then we downgraded
And then
to Caner Erkin ball.
and then we downgraded to Caner
That was
Erkin
the-
ball,
that was
and
the
then
depth.
then we switched to Rashid Ghezal ball. The only difference when we had Rashid Ghezal ball, we had a left winger who made really good runs and positioned himself well, and he was a shit football player, but his runs created danger and pulled defenders with them, left other people unmarked. On top of that, you had a guy like Abubakar who was unpredictable. We just had a lot more. This team only has Rafa right now. Who else is going to create consistent danger in this team?
By the way, it's now 3-2 Trabzonspor. I don't even know how that happened. Anyway, yeah.
Nice.
I mean,
Fenerbahce fans supporting Trabzon right now. Come on,
that must
Hadi
be,
Trabzon, Hadi Trabzon, I want to be
Can you
Tekna
imagine?
Malup champion. It's the only thing we have left to hold on to. Come on, Hadi Trabzon.
just please don't shoot our bus again.
Our bus.
Anyway.
Our bus.
Moving along. So where were we? I think we did Cengizhan, right? And then
Yeah.
Umer Günal said, "Guys, come on, you're nitpicking." We already took care of that. Umer Günal said 2 years ago he was a 7. We already took care of that. Cengizhan Arat said Yusuf Sadi would be like Kerim Frey was, impact player off the bench who's cheap.
Yeah,
that'd be fucking great.
that's perfect. We need.
No, I don't
something
think he meant that in a negative sense.
No, I don't think so either. I don't think so either.
Yeah.
But Ömer, I understand what you're coming from, man. But I think I've talked about this maybe in one of the last episodes. Says João Mario came from a situation at Benfica, almost a carbon copy of the situation he walked into here. A situation where he was scapegoated, where he was seen as a problem, and a lot of the negativity from the fans went on to him. So he came in with a very low confidence level into a new club when he needed this change of scenery. Unfortunately, he walked out of one toxic environment straight into the next one. And I think for him, yeah, it was over the minute he missed. You know, the minute Uğurcan saved that shot, it was over. If he scores that goal against Trabzon and we win 2-1, I think very different career for João Mario at Beşiktaş. I feel like it's
probably true.
there's
Yeah,
been a
that's
couple
probably
of
true.
players in our history where I have felt. By the way, Sinan, I am. Is that the gray shirt, the gray hoodie you're wearing?
Yeah,
I am
yeah.
fucking jealous. I love that one. I didn't get it. I have the black one, but I don't have a gray one.
I'm a big fan of
Yeah,
it.
it's
It's like my everyday
It looks
sweatshirt. Yeah.
great. I think we've had a couple of players through history like that. Federico Higuain had a goal against Fenerbahce in added time that got disallowed. I remember always thinking, if that goal didn't get disallowed, I think his Beşiktaş career would have been very, very different. And there's just been a couple of players like that throughout history where I think one moment in time could have sent them down a different road.
In a way, that's what's, I think, so beautiful about the sport.
Yeah.
What we love about football is it's a sport of moments. And what's interesting is, like, today, there was a moment where the ball flashed out to João Mario, and he could have put it away, it looked like. And he didn't.
No.
He kind of muffed the shot. And it's you feel like if he had it sort of ingrained in his DNA, that and by which I mean, like, if he was putting these things away, if he'd put away that one and then followed that up with another goal in like a couple matches, he puts that one away probably.
Yeah,
but
if he has confidence.
Just see, right? His shoulders are drooped.
Yeah.
He's kind of almost expecting the worst.
Yeah. He already knows he's not gonna score before he takes the shot.
Exactly.
And that
I don't know how good his left foot is, but if he takes it on his left, I think it's a goal.
I was wondering about that too.
Yeah.
There was another one that dropped to Semi. He pulled it out wide, and I thought he might have been able to put that away. I mean, we had chances, man. That's the weird thing about this match. Okay.
Yeah,
continuing.
but it's the same against Bodo Glimt, right? Like, we lose that game, but we had chances in that match as well. They weren't necessarily 100% clear-cut chances, but they were chances. We had one for Semi that got blocked. We had one from Rafa that got blocked in the second half. Then we had another one for Semi. And it's just... The problem is, I feel like we are creating a lot of half chances this season. They're always very clutch moments. And then, of course, you have those one-on-one situations with Rafa, But the problem with a one-on-one is... It's not always the player who misses the one-on-one's fault. There can be a really good goalkeeper who saves it. There can be a heroic clearance off the line, like, for example, with Emirhan. Is it 4?
3-3.
3-3. Okay, of course.
Batshuayi scored a penalty.
So, I mean, there's a lot of different situations, but how many tap-ins have we scored this season?
Yeah, and here's another thing in that regard. When is the last time we just got like a bounce in our favor? I swear, someone maybe it's one of our listeners, but there's a prominent Beşiktaş fan who has like someone put like a Fener sticker under his jacket. There's some curse that we're living with that, like, it just doesn't make sense. Like, the luck is always against us. I remember a few times thinking like, oh, if this ball bounces another direction and we get like a rebound, we probably put that away. But it just, I feel like whenever there's an opportunity like that, it goes against us.
I'm gonna burst your bubble, Sinan. Last weekend, the ball bounced the right way, I think.
That's true.
I'd argue today as well. It hits off the Adana Demirspor player and falls back into Mishraqi's path to head it in. That was luck as well.
Yeah, but then you also have the moments where, like, for example, in Trabzon, where Uğurcan has a save that he never makes probably again. And if you today against Gala, I'm not watching right now, but like, again, he does what he always does against Gala, but against us he has these matches. And then look at this kid today. He made a couple of really good saves. Credit to him. Happy for him. He was very unlucky in the match against Galatasaray, where he misjudged a long ball and then he went under it, and then Kerem had a relatively easy tap-in goal. But that's also, it feels like... But the problem is, it's because I think, Sinan, that's because we're like a wounded deer. And these teams smell the blood. And when they play Gala, when they play Fener, to a lesser extent, mainly when they play Galatasaray, like, there's no wounded animal there. There's no blood to smell. Yeah. And with us, they all smell the blood, man. And they capitalize on it. And yeah, it's just, we are...
You see the sad thing about this, if we're a wounded deer, Adana Demirspor is an almost dead deer on the far.
Yeah, but they're also a team that has
but they're desperate. Like, they had to get their first win somehow.
But they're not desperate, Sinan. They have nothing to lose anymore. They know already it's a foregone conclusion. They're getting relegated this season. These players aren't playing with the pressure of relegation on their shoulders. They're playing with the idea of where's my next paycheck gonna come from? What's my next club going to be? That's what these guys are playing for. Like Yusuf said,
I would argue that when you have a club like that who hasn't won yet, and they for their own pride, I'm assuming they want to get a W, and I think they see a club like us, who is struggling, and I feel like we could probably take advantage of this. Yeah. I don't know. Like for me, I don't know. In my mind, I'm thinking these guys probably came out thinking we got this.
There's no excuses.
No, there's no excuse.
There's no excuse on our end. I'm just talking about their mentality.
But for example, for Yusuf Sarri, today is the perfect opportunity for him to put himself in the spotlight.
That is a fucking disgrace, man. Like, no matter what way you cut it, man. We lost to a team that's not a single game.
Of course.
Nobody's arguing that.
But I'm just saying that for Adana Demirspor, the pressure is not relegation or whatever. The pressure is more like, hey, can I impress somebody today?
Maybe I can earn myself my next move.
I think Yusuf Sarri today earned a transfer, and I hope it's a transfer to us. And he should have had that transfer 18 months ago. If not longer ago. You should have had that longer ago. Some cunt worked for our club blocked us last year.
I mean, I almost would want Samet Aybaba to be the coach today, just so Yusuf Sarri could have slaughtered him. Because it's
the payback.
It's Samet who said that Yusuf Sarri is a counter player. We're not interested in him.
Oh, the genius.
Yeah, and it said I wish best of luck at Adana Demirspor.
Yeah. Didn't want Yusuf Sarri, but he wanted to sign 38-year-old Nemanja Matic because that was a cheap solution. Yeah.
Comments. Yeah. So we have the Finnish kebab talking about hashtag pray for Beşiktaş. Umar Grunal says LOL. I'm not sure what that was in relation to. Maybe we were funny at some point. Grey Wolf, this is such an embarrassment. Why did he start Masuaku? There's no excuse. We have absolutely nothing to lose and play other players. This team is not doing it. Everyone sees how horrible of a player Masuaku is, and yet they keep starting him. I mean, and the weird thing is that they finally got rid of him in the last, and now he's back for some reason. So yeah, I don't know.
He was suspended for the Bodo game.
Yeah.
The only reason he didn't play was because he was suspended. So Gio kept going with him. Serdar keeps going with him. Like, I mean, if there's one positive to take away from this game, I think it's that whoever becomes president will sign a new coach. I don't think either of them is going to continue with a coach that lost to Adana Demirspor.
Yeah, but even like 2 days ago, that's what's annoying me about these two candidates as well. Like last week they were saying that we're going to continue with Serdar. Like Serdar Toprak we saw last season isn't good enough, man.
No,
in the league, he's not good enough, man.
Like, the problem is though, Kartal. Do you really want to burn a coach with this now? With 6 more months of this, probably a bad season. Then they already entered. Then they already entered the next season with a lot of pressure. If it doesn't go well,
we're in financial peril, bro. We need to make the Europa League. We need to make it. We're in a terrible financial situation.
Yeah, I agree with you.
We've got 10 million Turkish lira in the bank.
Yeah.
Sinan's probably get more money than that in the bank, man. In New York.
Let's have a look at the stats of the game, and then we can continue talking about Sinan's finances. When are you gonna buy the club, Sinan?
I have to start my career first. All right, so stat. Beşiktaş had 65% of the ball to Adana's 35%. We had 1.81 xG to their 1.2. 18 shots to their 14. 10 on target to their 7. These are the stats. Wow, this is impressive, Beşiktaş. They had 3 big chances to our 2. We missed both of ours. They only missed 2 of their 3. That's the difference in the match. There you go. Accurate passes. They only had 189 accurate passes, and they completed them at a 72% rate, and they still won. we completed 300. We didn't even compete. We didn't even complete 400 passes, despite having 65% of the ball, which is wild. Only at an 80. We did complete them at an 80% rate, which isn't bad. We did commit 13 fouls to their 10, which feels a little weird. We are offsides 3 times to their twice. 14 corners to their 2. So, I mean, we definitely look like the side with more initiative, which makes sense because we were down by 2 goals for most of this match. So, Cartel, you handle the duels, man.
Jules, 56 one for them to 52 for us, so they had a 52% advantage to our 48. 38 ground duels, one for them to our 33. They won 54% of them. Aerial duels, 18 for them, 19 for us, so we won 51%. Successful dribbles, they completed 9, a 75% success rate, which is really good for them. We had 9 as well, but it was only a 50% success rate, so that means we tried 18. That means they would have tried maybe about 12, 13 if they completed it at 75%. Yellow cards, 3 for them, 1 for us. Red cards, 0 for them, 1 for us. Obviously that was for Taib Taha Sarunc, which in my eyes was not a red card at all. Bakhtiar was ahead of Taib. It wasn't a dangerous tackle, so it's never a red card. That was a disgraceful decision.
I don't agree with you, man. That's a 100% goal scoring chance if he doesn't tackle him.
Bakhtiar's further ahead, man. He's not last man.
Let's switch the camera, guys. We're done with the stats.
Bakhtiar runs past him when he falls. But
here's my only contention, Khan. What does that mean? I need to see replays more, but I actually think that the attacking player kind of steps back awkwardly, like to set his foot, he puts it down on Tayyip's foot. So I'm not actually entirely certain that Tayyip is the one who initiated that contact. So that was my only kind of complaint with it. I think you call it because he makes that contact, but I think given that the contact is in a way initiated by the attacking player, I think maybe you give a yellow or no card. I get giving the foul because he's kind of encroaching in his space, but it felt really soft. So that was my only issue with the red card, not necessarily whatever.
Like, I think if he doesn't go down there, he has a 100% goal scoring chance. I don't think Bakhtiar stops him. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe I'm misremembering it, but I think that was a red card. Honestly, I was watching that and I saw the replay and I was like, yeah. Because some guys were like, oh, maybe they'll go to VAR and overturn it, and I was just looking at the replays and I was like, yeah, I don't think so. I don't see why they would overturn it. I didn't see the thing you're talking about, Sinan, but just looking at the momentum he had heading into the box, yeah. If that's a penalty, for example, if he's in the box, that's a penalty and a yellow, because I do think Tayyip tries to play the ball. But because it's outside the box, I think you have to give the red card. I mean, it's really it's a Baris goal chance, like they say, right? Like it's a clear-cut goal scoring opportunity, I think, and then you have to give red. So I don't. I would be if the rules were reversed and that would happen on the other end of the pitch, and that's Rafa taken down in a similar situation. I'd be pissed if they didn't give a red card. So yeah. I don't know. What do the people in the comments think? Because I'm clearly outnumbered here.
Let's get back to those comments, speaking of which. So, where are we? Boy, we actually got a lot of comments just there. So we did all the Grey Wolf stuff. So Umer Gunal says, yeah, I didn't like what happened to João Mario. And can you blame him? The president came out and said, I didn't want him. What's he supposed to do? Yeah, I mean, there's so many awkward situations like that.
But that only just happened now, though. I mean, João Mario has been playing like, if João Mario is the player who everyone is trying to distance themselves from. It's nobody's fault. Nobody wanted to sign him. Everyone's pointing at somebody.
We still don't know who it was. Someone compared him to Thierry Henry. We need answers.
Someone compared him to Thierry Henry. And it's been 3 different people at this point. First it was Kaan Shaku, then it was Gio, now it's Hassan Arat. Everyone's trying to distance themselves from this guy. It's ridiculous.
I mean, I think it's ridiculous that it was compared to Henry in the first place, but
well, yeah.
The only thing that's similar about both is they're both bald and they have the same skin tone.
Yeah. I mean, he's a good football player. It's just not showing it right now. Obviously,
it's not
never Thierry Henry level though, of course.
Not even the same profile.
No, yeah.
Anyway, so Grey Wolf said they played better with 10 men.
I don't know.
I
I
guess
do
it
think
depends.
if we don't get the red card, I think we get at least a point from this match. Honestly, I do believe that because
I mean, we could have gotten one regardless.
I feel like if we would have played as we did in the second half, if that's just the mentality you start the game with, I don't think you lose this match. But you start this game.
Well,
like
and you
a
know
wet
what?
rag.
Actually, you say start. You know, the interesting about that specific sentence you just said is that I feel like there was like 3 minutes at the start where we looked so much better than Adana Demir, and I thought, okay, like these guys are ready to put it on them, you know, and then it just flipped.
After 10 minutes,
it flipped
we
real quick.
create a really good chance. Musrati does well to send Rafa through, and Rafa goes one-on-one with the keeper, and he saves it. But the problem is then that's all you have to show for it in the first. When did Adana score? Like 28 minutes or something. So the first
30th.
Yeah. So the first half hour of the game, you have one moment in which you are dangerous. In 30 minutes, that is not enough. And you're playing against a team that isn't only virtually relegated, but on top of that, they're winless. They've scored 4 goals all season. And look, I've watched a couple of games from Adana Demirspor this season. They aren't as bad as the statistics make them seem, but they are pretty damn bad though. Like, this is still a team that against Samsunspor gave away a 1-0 lead and lost 4-1 or something. This is I mean, they're not amateurs because all of those players are obviously professional level players, and a lot of them probably are playing when they're probably Birinci League level players or something like that, and a few of them are better than that, like a Yusuf Sarret, for example. I brought that example that Maestro guy. I actually thought he's half decent in a couple of games that I watched him playing. But obviously, you know,
he's a pain in the
yeah.
ass.
But like you know, we played played Hatay now, and we've played Adana Demirspor now, and we've gotten 1 point against the bottom 2 in the league over the last 3 weeks. And that's if I'm not mistaken, that's both under Serdar Toprak now. Am I wrong? Hatay was Serdar.
No, he's hardly winning the plaudits. I think we could say.
So
I mean, maybe it shows that Gio wasn't the problem after all. You know?
I was thinking that too today, Carter. I was like, I guess I can't blame Gio today.
It was clear that the bullshit in the background was the main problem.
I think Gio would have done the same thing, though. I don't think Gio gets more than 1 point from those 2 games as well, honestly.
But I mean, think about it, but though, man, like, see, with like Frido and Samet have left. The media have said that wages have been paid. At least a portion of it has been paid. Maybe Gio does better in these matches under those circumstances. With all the bullshit away.
Yeah, but under Gio, we were also weak on corners. We conceded another corner goal today. Under Gio, Masuaku was also clowning every game and still starting every match.
Yeah, that was with all the bullshit going on. Like, maybe with a bit more background that we've got now, the guy could have actually done his job properly.
No, I don't believe that. I think I think the only type of coach that can get anything out of a team like this right now is somebody who's willing to kick their freaking ass, shout at them, because Gio is too nice, Serdar is too nice. These guys need an asshole in front of them. They need somebody who calls them shit to their faces. Somebody who calls them shit on television, maybe. I mean, just to name someone. The players are a large part of the problem, but they have also kind of rolled into that because we weren't this bad we were actually really good at the start of the season, and we weren't this bad in October. We weren't great, but we were still winning football matches, and we were still scoring goals, and we were still, you know, there was still something in there. But now we've come to a point where not everyone, but like too many players have given up already, have thrown in the towel. And there's a couple of guys who still keep on trying and who want to make the best of it or salvage something from the situation, but some just don't have the mental capacity, and others don't give a fuck. That's, you know, I think that's the situation.
I'm not going to weigh in on the would Gio do better thing? Because all we can do is speculate, and there's no point like arguing about that. It's just who knows. But anyway, moving on.
The only thing I think is certain is Gio would not have won the Fenerbahce derby because Ox wouldn't have played.
Maybe that's true.
Maybe we play better football.
Oh yeah, definitely.
I mean, the background cleaned up. You don't know, man. That's the thing. Obviously, I'm speculating as well. You're speculating, but we really don't know.
Yeah.
But I think
we don't. I don't think we do because it could have gone. You know, and the thing is that it's the norm everywhere else in the world to give managers more time to sort of operate and make mistakes. You think of like Ten Hag and how many opportunities that dude got despite just failure after failure.
Though, like, what is the point when you already know it's a foregone conclusion that somebody is going to fail? Ten Hag should have been fired at least a year ago, for example, and they wasted another year with him.
Well, I guess here is my counter to what is the point in relation to Giovanni Van Bronckhorst.
Gio, that's different.
I guess you could argue what is the point of any of this at this phase, right? Like, what is the point of Serdar Toprak? Like, what? Like, at this point, it doesn't matter, right? Like, the only benefit of keeping Gio is that at least we look like a stable, normal club as best we can until we make that decisive move.
Exactly. Now we've paid out his wages and we're going to have to go and get another coach. It's more financial harm to the team. Just now we've got a coach that's worse than Gio. He can see on the field a cardboard cut out of a coach.
I think in almost every club that has the ambition to win the league or to qualify for Europe, if you win if you lose 4 out of 5 league games, I think you're sacked. I don't think that is anything. I don't think that's just in Turkey.
It was 3 out of 5 though. It wasn't 4 out of 5.
4 out of 5.
It was 3. I'm sure it was 3 because now we've just got a 4th loss of the season in the league. We've drawn 4. We've won 7, drawn 4, and lost 4.
In November we definitely lost 4 out of 5 games. I guess it's like includes Europe then.
Yeah.
But I mean, like the team. You have to agree, like it was going from bad to worse every game.
Yeah, but why is that? Is that because of what's going on in the background, or is that just because of Gio? Like, maybe Gio can't do his job properly because of all the shit going on, and if that mess was cleaned up, he could operate again. Or he could have just been too mentally gone to be able to save it. That could also happen. But the fact is, like, we're no better off now for having sacked Gio. We're not.
No. But I also don't think we're worse off. It's just stayed the same, and that's the same.
Well,
and that's the same thing that happened for the most part last season. Like,
is it worth paying a fucking severance package to stay the same?
Yeah, but whether you pay that severance package now or you pay it at the end of the season, it's the same. No.
Well,
at least then you gave a chance to maybe turn things around, but
and also you're paying at least his wage between now and then. In smaller installments, whereas you need to pay a bigger lump sum.
Depends on what they agreed on. You don't know. Maybe they agreed to pay it over 2 years or something. You don't know that.
I mean, I'm just saying.
Anyway,
it's a possibility.
It's funny. I was like, the one thing we shouldn't do is debate over speculation, and then we went into 10 minutes of debate over speculation. No, but it's true. It's a good conversation.
I feel like Catal's been beating this dead horse for a couple of weeks now. Like the Gio thing.
Serdar Toprak failed because for the first 60 minutes of this game, this team had no fucking intent, apart from a couple of players. I actually think Mizrahi's passing game today was very good.
But what's the difference with under Gio though? Like against Maccabi and against.
That's the thing. Like, it's not unknown, man. Like, see with the players that have been paid at least a portion of their wages due, and with the background of the mess between Samet and Murad being cleaned up.
But like, Cathal.
We don't. I'm not saying it. Like, the fact is, you've just said that like we've not improved. Like, so what was the point then?
Yeah, but what you said last week, and a couple of people were, maybe not you, but some people last week were like, oh, now we see when they get paid they can play. And I said then, like, no, they didn't play. They just got lucky. They got a lucky win. And
well, we fought at least last week.
So, but we fought last week. What? That's what Sally said after the game. But did you think we fought last week?
I think there was a lot of effort, definitely. And look at that ball Emirhan took, clears off the line.
Yeah, but Emirhan is not the problem. He fought today too. Emirhan isn't going to not fight. You know? It's guys like Masuaku who don't give.
Masuaku had a good game
Yeah.
in the derby last.
Yeah.
And
There was just one good game.
But why can he turn up then in the Fener game and today he's sleeping again? And
This
and
guy-
how is that?
this guy's a
and
conundrum.
are you gonna sit there with a straight face and say, well, if Gio would have stayed, I think it would be different? Do you think
I
Masuaku?
can't say for
No,
sure.
but
as I said.
Masuaku Masuaku was like this from the beginning of the season, and this is not something that started in November. This is
I'm not saying like Masuaku is going to get better, but there's a chance that with the players' salaries paid and with Samet and Brad both gone, who were the two guys supposedly fighting behind the scenes, that Gio could have maybe started sorting things out, because his ceiling's a lot higher than fucking Serdar's ceiling, and I think you can't deny that either. We've
yeah,
seen
but
how good
Serdar is not the coach I want.
Well, he's the coach that we've got because of sacked Gio, and it seems like it's going to stay that way because both candidates
But
are saying he's going to be.
if Gio stays, the pressure from outside would only be bigger right now at Cartel. Now, because Serdar is there, there's less pressure from the media. If Gio stays, then it's relentless shitting on Gio until he's fired.
Yeah, and that's what I hate about the fucking media, because they kept shitting on the guy while all this stuff was clearly going on in the background. They knew about it because they don't get leaked information because he's not a Turkish coach.
I know that's the thing, and I hate when people are like, oh, only a Turkish coach can succeed.
No, of course not.
I mean, it's like this the self-fulfilling prophecy,
Yeah.
right? Where and then the media get behind it, and it's like because they're not gonna get their fucking sources. Like, you know, it's all just garbage, man. Like, we have systemic issues.
The
in this
reason
country.
only a Turkish coach can succeed is because we can't sign a decent foreign coach. Gio is the probably the highest profile coach we could sign, realistically.
And there's a world where he could succeed too.
Because
It's just-
people
there
are
was-
dreaming about coaches like, what's his name there?
I believe that's Sinan as well. It's someone that was dead against Gio after that first month, man, and what I saw and how I felt. I think, and maybe with the right setup and.
I like
Yeah,
more than one winger.
But Kata, if we had the right setup, if we had a stable environment, if we had this, if we had that, then maybe Valeria Ismail could succeed. You know, like.
I'm not opposed to that either. Remember that one friendly game? Anyway,
Ismail's got literally no success in his career, really.
No, it's
best-
an exaggeration, but like, for example, Bilic could come in, and if the situation was stable, he would do a good job. The problem is that the situation isn't stable, and that you have to sort that out first, and it hasn't been sorted out in 4 years. I don't know if it's gonna get sorted out in the next 4 either. So
in defense of Bilic, he also does have that ability to deal with adversity. I think, like, he could actually theoretically be a positive force.
there was a point. I think once after the Brugge game, I kind of feel like everything collapsed there as well. So, I mean, there's only so much. I think there's only so much mileage. There's still
Anyway,
some more
let's
comments.
go on to the comments.
Let's see what the
So Grey Wolf, did I already? No, this is a new Grey Wolf wall of the wolf. Our shots on goal is horrible, no quality, and too far and few in between.
Yeah.
Not just this game, for years now.
Yeah.
The cross attempt is horrendous, and the Beşiktaş players try to cross when the opposing player is too close, and the majority of the time it just hits
Yeah,
them.
and also they're not picking out anyone. They're just like, for example, Masuaku. He tries, like, in the first half, like he's constantly looking to cross it, but there's nobody. He isn't looking for anyone. He is just looking to
get a good cross.
to cross. He doesn't have an end target with it. He just prays maybe somebody gets on the end of it, but there's no. He's not looking for anyone. He's like too far out. He's just he doesn't have speed, so he barely beats his man. And then he tries to cross it in wildly for only nobody to be in that box. And this is what I've been saying for months now as well, or at least weeks. Like, we have, for example, we had Chiro. And look how many people are saying, well, Chiro doesn't score goals from open play. Yeah, Chiro doesn't score goals from open play because Chiro doesn't get chances from open play. Look, I've talked about him before, Osimhen. You know, and let's talk about Enesiri, who has less minutes than Chiro. Enesiri has a higher XG to this day, has a higher XG than Chiro. And the reason isn't because Chiro is shit. The reason is because we do not create chances for our strikers. Today, Simi didn't get in a single decent goal scoring position other than that one where Rafa played him through. But we don't create chances for our goal scorers almost. Like we have, I think you can count it on one hand. The amount of goals we have scored this season that our striker has scored that we created for them. We have Simi a couple of weeks ago against Malmö. We have Simi against Kasımpaşa, I think. Then we have Chiro twice against Antalya. And that's almost it. We create almost nothing. Fener and Galatasaray create the same amount of chances for their striker, not just chances, just for their striker. They create the same amount of chances for their striker in one match than we do in 10 games. And it's maybe a mild exaggeration.
Trabzon almost stole it. All right, Gray will find he finished up that thought with they play like they have no pride and urgency, especially against the last team in the league. Boomer goes, if I was in a cold country right now, I would go out and put my head in the snow to cool down. It's been an hour and a half and I'm still angry at the same rate. And he says, haha, Sinan caught a stray. That's probably about the whole money thing. I've been catching strays since Bülent Uslu said, go home American. I've been catching strays. That's just life as a gringo in the world of football.
Did
Gray
he say go home American? I remember him saying Yankee as well. Like some people were calling him.
Maybe that was a separate one, but I remember the American. It was very like boom, like oh okay,
okay.
That felt that hit me a little. That talk about.
But I just wonder how much can all that stuff that's been going on behind the scenes, like you would imagine most of that is infighting among the board. How much do the players really see of that? I wonder. I really wonder that because I feel like we're giving these guys a free pass almost.
Yeah, a little bit, right?
Did you see Ujel's statements? He even said that within the squad there was.
He said that, but I mean, I'm not saying it doesn't. Keitel, I am just wondering, like, how does that work? And like, who is Team Samet Aybaba? I would generally like, who is that?
Probably the fucking Toxman.
Yeah, but this is the same.
Speaking of Team Samet Aybaba, look, who was it that just said this? Grey Wolf said, might as well bring Aybaba temporarily because Serdar's not cutting it. So
I wish we would have brought him to this game so Yusuf Sani could have embarrassed him.
Like knee slide in front of him after that second.
Yeah, exactly.
Until John says those kids in the neighborhood can wait for the next Beşiktaş jersey. Sinan's busy buying the club. I still have to get like a book published, and there aren't many writers who do well financially, so that I need that to like turn into a valuable IPO. You know, I need a movie series.
You need like a New York Times
video game
bestseller, and then.
That's right. So that's on you, listeners. If I get published, you gotta buy like 10 books.
Oh, 10 books! I was gonna say I'll buy one, but 10, woof.
I'll sign one if you buy 5. No, I'm kidding. Just buy one. Let's just hope it gets published, folks. Moving on. Grey Wolf, I didn't see any contact for the red card.
Yeah. Okay.
So there's that. That was sort of in relation to we turned that to the group. That's the only comment about that. Atiljan says Madrid had a similar situation against Atalanta. It's soft, but there's contact. It is what it is.
Mm-hmm.
Man, that Atalanta game, by the way, they have this dude. I mean, like you guys will know his name, Ademola Lookman. That dude is crazy.
We were supposed to sign him at some point, bro.
Yeah.
Oh my god, dude, he scored a stunner in that game. I watched him. Anyway,
did you see? Was that penalty from the Ketelaar? Did you see that?
No,
I think that was against Madrid. Like if Chiro would have hit his penalties against Frankfurt and against Maccabi like that, it wouldn't have been saved.
Oh yeah, right.
It was like
I didn't know who
in the high corner. It was
unsavable.
Unsavable.
Professional. Umar Gunal, if the team played the entire game the way they had played in the second half, we wouldn't be discussing a loss right now. It shouldn't take them 45 minutes and fan abuse to wake them up.
Was he in 45 minutes? That's the thing. It was like 60.
Yeah.
At the start of that second half, I didn't see that.
No, it was like around minute 55. I think we started to, yeah.
And I actually criticised Rafa at half time, but I think in the second half he was pressing like a madman.
I mean, it's also worth noting that we had our Kazaki king come in for the second half. But I joke, about him generally, but this was a game where his engine and his motor were vital. I feel like you look at that first half and guys who were kind of lousing around, like you kind of need someone who is going to go out there and give 110%. But when the team is dispirited the way we seem to be.
But Kartal, don't you think that's a little sad though, man? That Rafa, you'd expect the foreigners to be the ones to hang their heads and not give a fuck, right?
Yeah, and he was pressing like him. I criticised him at half time for not kind of taking the game by the scruff of the neck enough, but pressed like a madman in that second half, and he created some chances as well, like that Sarri chance that was cleared off the line. That was all Rafa. He done the initial pass for that. They kind of fell.
Semi chance too.
Cut out. Yeah. And then he actually chased the ball back and then passed it back out to Sarri. So the first chance, the first one didn't work out. He chased the ball down and passed it back again to Sarri. Just an example of the fight he showed. And I was a lot happier with him.
If we just had a couple of more players like that around him, put Jets on there, and then two more players who can just take responsibility and try to grab the game by the scruff. But the problem is we don't have them, man. I think that is the single biggest issue this season. Because last season you could say there was a very clear lack of quality. This team, okay, we have a lot of injuries right now, but there is quality in this team. There is. This is not the same terrible squad we had last season. It's an incomplete squad for sure. But there's something there, and it just needs a couple of leaders. Today, I think one of the biggest issues is that who is the leader on this team? Who? Maybe Mert, but that's not really.
Yeah, he doesn't. His voice doesn't reach the front.
Who is the leader on this team, man? Who's the guy that's supposed to say, okay, guys, let's go? The guys who we brought in to be those guys, they were all out. Chiro and Paulista. They're the ones that, Paulista was brought in to lead the defensive line, but he's been out all season.
Oh my god. Galatasaray just won in the last second of extra time.
No.
Batshuayi with the header.
Oh my god.
Oh my god.
How much extra time did they get?
They got 8 minutes and they scored 97-45.
That's incredible.
Anyway.
That's the difference though. Look how many injuries they have right now. And they have this mentality. Never give up, keep going until the bitter end. And that is just our players don't have it. And knowing Galatasaray, there's plenty of players there waiting a couple of months for their payments. Always been like that. They've had issues. There was lots of talk about payment issues last season as well, and I think even this season. The problem is they played through it, man. They know they're gonna get their money.
It was an own goal. Trabzon, maybe. No, I think it was an own goal. Umar Gunal says Rico Henry, the left back that plays for Brentford. That's the only Henry I can think of. And then he says, Serdar apparently asks them what they would like to play. So, I guess it's not going to work out.
Yeah.
Because our 4th loss this season, why does it feel like we lost 10? And he says, about your guys' little debate about Gio staying or not, he says, you are both not wrong. The thing is, if the club had a direction and knew they were going to an election, you don't fire GVB and sort it out after the election. But because they have no clue, we are here.
Yeah. Because, exactly. I think Yücel was confident he could bring in Sergen, and he couldn't then, he should have already had an agreement with Sergen before he fired Van Bronckhorst. Otherwise, he should have just kept Van Bronckhorst in place and leave it to whoever wins the election to decide his fate. But
see, I mean, if they had that, if Sergen was going to come, as much as I don't want Sergen, I'd say at least he's got a contingency plan. But he didn't have one. He just thought, he'll come.
Yeah.
So basically, you've somewhat actually agreed with me.
But that's the same problem. I feel like it's the same. I feel like it's that's this exact same issue that has got us partially into this problem in the first place. Is I think they were all thinking for a month, we will find and sign that winger, and they just kept waiting and being patient. But then suddenly,
I don't understand though. So sorry to cut your point there, Can, but how the fuck do you not find a winger? Apparently they're looking for one for a month, and they couldn't find one. How is that possible?
Because I think they were very set on Gabriel Angelo, and they really thought.
And I wonder. It sounds like there was just so much bickering in that back room. It might have been very hard to get anything done from the sound of it. But
I mean,
anyway, you guys want to hear me speak Turkish?
Yeah, sure.
ML 123, who interestingly their avatar is like South America, but he writes in Turkish. Semi gibi vasat bir adam neden?
Was that?
What does that mean? You're on translation.
He said, "Why an average man like Semi?" That's what that means.
Oh, so he's criticizing Semi. That's rough. That's a rough take.
Doesn't really seem like a complete sentence, but I'll have a look at it myself.
Semi gibi vasat bir adam neden? Yeah, I don't know what to say about it.
He said,
"Why an average man like Semi?" But I don't really know what that's in reaction to.
Yeah, maybe that was contextual. At least I didn't butcher
I don't think Simi had a particularly good game today, but like
in that first half, I thought he had some nice passes where if they were taken better by his teammates, could have been dangerous. But in the second half, I think he done almost nothing apart from get that one chance.
The problem is that he doesn't really weigh. No, in this game, he didn't weigh enough on the defense in this game. But he's kind of playing against his own stature in a way, because he isn't very tall, and that doesn't really help. And I think for a game like this, when we play this way, it's very difficult for a striker like Simi. I think in a match like this, and honestly in how we play all the time, because we don't play good football, I think it's much easier to have a tower like an Onuachu, like a 2-meter tall guy that you can just send the ball to and pray maybe a cross goes in or whatever. When you have a striker like Simi, that type of striker, you need to play good football and you need to have good footballers around him. And unfortunately, only Rafa checks that box right now. So there's too little quality around him. It's just simple as that. I said the same thing about Jetson last season. Like, there's not enough quality around Jetson, and that's why he's not shining. Now we have a little bit more quality around Jetson, and now we're seeing what he's capable of. But up top, we need more quality around either Simi or Chiro, because without it, they're not gonna score goals. Like, they're not.
Yeah.
They're not they're not physical beasts,
Yeah. Atil John said, sadly, there's not much to talk about on the pitch. The ship needs to be steadied. It felt that the board finally stabilized the club in a serious way. We were fooled. The shit pile is overflowing. And the only one caveat I'll add to that is, like, right, a pretty devastating form of cancer, right, happened. We shouldn't kind of completely lose sight of some of the personal tragedy involved and how things.
I mean, the cynic in me wonders how sick he is right now.
Yeah, I've heard recently there's reports that he's fine.
Oh my God!
Who's saying that though, right? Like,
he definitely had some sort of illness. Like, they're not saying that, but they're saying like these tests have came out fine, and basically, I'd imagine maybe because he's clearly had an operation on his neck, so maybe that's sorted them out. I've heard that his recent tests have been fine.
That would be. I mean, honestly, I wouldn't consider that bad news, because I mean, we know we've all seen the images. If somehow he came out of that okay, that would be something of a miracle, given what people were linking the images to, some of the medical things that one would have that appearance. I don't know. Whatever it is. Like
Yeah,
I honestly,
okay,
I hope he
of
survives.
course,
I hope he's okay.
can also be a very relative term.
But
Yeah,
see,
maybe
the
he's just
thing-
not on his deathbed
see-
anymore.
See, the thing is, man, like, okay, I don't wish any bad to the guy. Like, hopefully he's fine. Hopefully those reports that he's fine are true. But he's done a terrible job. He's done a terrible job.
He did a really bad job at assembling the team around him, and it just feels like he sold a lot of hot air.
Yeah, he did. And what fucking president? Like, literally, a leader is meant to lead. And from the feeling we're getting is either he didn't want to be seen as backtracking by sacking Samet. At the same time, he brought in someone he thought he wasn't good enough.
Yeah.
Like, a leader's meant to lead.
Yeah,
You make
yeah.
that. You sack Samet and you come out and you say, "Look, I didn't think he was good enough."
Yeah, no. If you
And sometimes you need controversial things, but it seems like he was too scared about it. He was tapping around.
Samet.
You need-
And again, but you can't help but like if he like, there's just we have to know more because if he wasn't there because he was literally
Yeah,
like
but that's
in treatment
supposedly like the
and
last
like dealing
4
with
months
his
now.
mortality.
Yes, man.
But
I'm
he's
too
the
direct.
one who wanted to bring in a football director. So he has already
Yeah,
come
yeah,
to the
yeah.
conclusion of Samet is not the answer. Then he should have either fired Samet or really clearly communicate to Samet, okay, you're going to do this role and you're not doing that role anymore. But he didn't have...
Well, and my only defense of him is if he made these decisions healthy and thought I can manage these egos. Again, it's still putting too much on yourself. You shouldn't have to like if you're setting yourself up to have to manage egos. You're like look, the mistake is clear. His personnel decision making was not great. But if he felt he could kind of handle these things better and then was literally physically unable, I have to give him the benefit of the doubt there. But again, there's just so much mystery. I think we need foresight. We need to be able to look back and like with some information, some knowledge of what's actually happened back there before we can kind of like, chisel whatever it is into the tombstone. But we'll see how it goes. I mean,
apparently,
I need answers. I need answers before I judge.
Tell was saying that like you tell other board members to go and ask him for money.
Yeah.
Which is crazy.
Like, is that
That's
a fucking
disgraceful.
content?
That's disgraceful.
That's insane.
That's not insane.
I don't.
That's
Again, I need
disgraceful.
contact, but also, with rumors, cartel, you got to be careful. There's so many.
Well,
camps.
Yusel said that himself in an interview the other day. But I mean, of course, he's gonna try and paint himself as in a good light. So
A savior.
again,
or,
like
yeah,
you have to
as
hear
not,
both.
I mean, if any.
You have to hear both sides of the story, but
I think Michel's a fucking idiot, but at the same time, he strikes me as an honest
oh, be careful there, Cartel. We already have one who are going to court. Don't be number 2.
man. No, he's
True.
I do hope that idiot's not a suable offence, but
I don't think
See-
Yavshak is either, but
see, the thing is, like, this guy literally did accept that the whole digital signature, that he said that was on him, it was a mistake.
I don't even think that's such a big deal. That's not abnormal for
Like,
digital.
he took that onto himself, and that was something that there was a lot of backlash about. So I need to give him credit for that. But I just don't think
it's not even that big of a scandal as people made it out to be. Like, that is very normal to have digital signatures on those types of things. It's a formality anyway.
I think Ugel's. It seems like he's, because that's something that there was a lot of heat for. The fact that he's taking that on himself, that's commendable.
Well, let's finish the talk about the game, guys, because I think we can continue to beat a dead horse. But let's talk about the upcoming elections. Of course, we have Adana Demirspor on the weekend still against Sami Uğurlu, so we'll probably get spanked again. But after that, there's gonna be a 2-week break, I think, until the 5th of January, and we're gonna have elections in the meantime, and it's gonna be current sitting president Hüseyin Yücel versus somebody who's ran 3 times already and who was the vice president under Yıldırım Demirören up until 2012. We have Serdal Adalı. So let's talk a little bit about that. Let's get into the comment section as well, guys. Let us know who you are leaning towards. We did a poll last week. We already discussed it a little bit in our last episode as well. I also, in our WhatsApp community, I have a poll up as well that you can vote on. For those of you who are in the community, you can vote in that poll too. For those of you who are listening and or watching, and you aren't in our WhatsApp community, go to patreon.com/Beşiktaş podcast, become a free member, and then you gain access to the link that allows you to join our WhatsApp community. It's completely free to be part of that community. We welcome everyone. The more the merrier. We just had to put that link behind some sort of protection because we had it publicly before, and then we kept getting these crypto spammer bots in all the time, and it was getting really annoying. We had to delete and ban them from the server all the time, from the group. So now we revoked that link, and we have the active link that is up on our Patreon page. You can join the group that way. Other than that, do consider trying us out on Patreon. It's a 7-day free trial, and after that your first month is 75% off, which equals to only 50 cents. A lot of bonus content, including an extra VIP podcast each and every week. And in the past couple of weeks, a lot more than one per week, because there's just been so much to talk about. You also get early access to our videos and all that kind of stuff, and you'll be supporting the podcast and helping us out going forward. So check us out on patreon.com/Beşiktaş podcast. At least become a free member so you can gain access to the WhatsApp community. But consider joining us as a Black Eagle VIP as well. So let's talk about these elections, guys. Join us in the comments as well. Let us know your thoughts. Sinan, you were leaning towards Hüseyin Yücel last time we spoke. Are you still leaning towards Yücel? Have you changed your mind at all? I don't know if you've been following the interviews that he's been giving on TV in the last couple of days.
Yeah, they don't inspire a ton of confidence. I've always said I don't really like either candidate, in an ideal world. I pick Hüseyin Yücel very begrudgingly, I guess you could say. I just feel like he has the money, he has, I think, every reason to kind of like salvage his reputation. So he's going to do everything he can to kind of turn this thing around, so he's not to blame for whatever's happened here. One thing I'll say, someone in the I think it was in our group chat, was saying that Serdar Adaly has tried so many times and not been voted in that he kind of finally deserves his chance. And the one person I can sort of say has won a position based on that logic was Joe Biden. Everyone said, he keeps trying and he loses. You got to give him a chance finally. And we all see how that went. I think, the people of Rafa are really happy that decision was made. I don't think one should be rewarded just for trying, and I think failing time and time again because so many other candidates have been deemed better is not a credential for getting a chance. That said, I mean, I'm not like a diehard Yücelite. Yücel stan.
Do you not feel it's a little bit different though, because Adaly has been a candidate each and every time now in a very difficult period for the club? It's not a grateful job at all. It's probably an unthankful job, and it's a difficult one. So he's stood up when others refused to do so. It's something Hüseyin Yücel mentioned in one of his interviews the last couple of days, that he has been in contact with a lot of rich businessmen who are Beşiktaş Congress members in an attempt to try and get them involved, and one for one they said no. And I think that's one of those things that has been criticized by our community over the last years. Like, where are the rich guys? Where's the Özyegins, the Kazancıs, the Koç, Rami Koç? Yeah. I mean, he sponsors Beşiktaş each and every year, and he gives millions to Beşiktaş. But if you compare that to what Sanfredo is doing at Fenerbahçe, like you can't compare the amount of money that's being pumped in at Fener to the amount of money that the Koç family is pumping in at Beşiktaş. So like there's this perception that there's a responsibility for the disgustingly rich, let me put it that way, because for example, like a guy like Serdar Adaly, to our standards, he is rich. He probably has, I don't know, 250 million euros in the bank. But unfortunately, in football, 250 million euros is not that much money. This is not a guy who has the ability purely on its own to say tomorrow, oh, I'm going to pay off all the debt and I'm going to restructure the club, reform the club, sign a bunch of good players, invest 100 million into the squad or something like that. He doesn't have that type of wealth. Somebody like Ali Koç does and has at Fenerbahce.
And Khan, I never got to answer your question.
Yeah.
You know, I would suggest that just because he's tried to win the seat in this difficult period, it doesn't inherently entail that he's like done it for good intentions. Insofar as, I mean, it could also be desperation, right? Like he's so desperate to have this seat, he's tried so many times that he's even willing to do it in those conditions. Like, and I don't think that means he's more likely to succeed in the role.
But would you
as much as it suggests that he's something he really wants? I have no doubt he wants this position. I think nobody can doubt that. But obviously, at this stage, anyone who's going for it wants the position desperately, even. And again, you know, I think here's my problem. I don't think people hold Serdar Adali accountable for. Serdar, what did I say? Serdar. I don't think people hold him accountable for his role in previous administrations, and it's odd that people would hold Hussein Yücel accountable for his role in this previous administration as such, given that the administration Adali was in was the worst in our history, the one that has like set the standard for all of the.
That's the goldfish memory, though. But then you also have to ask, like, how responsible was Adali for that? Because at the
but then how responsible?
I agree with you. I don't think the vice president should be held accountable for the failure of a board. But
as right here, right? Grey Wolf said it. Yildirim is the president that majorly fucked the club and put us in severe debt. So I'm glad our listeners at least
I
remember
100%
that.
agree with that, by the way, because there's people right now. I saw Ender Karataş, I think, or what's his name? That Mustafa Karataş. I saw him tweet the other day that Arat is the worst president in the club's history, and that just got my blood boiling. Not because I'm a fan of Arat, but simply because there's a man called Yildirim Demirören who has put the club
who destroyed it. Yeah.
The reason we had to go into FEDA, the reason that we ran out of money when the economy hit the shit under Orman, the reason we didn't have any money under Ahmet Nur Çebi, the reason why we have money issues right now, you can point to
and lost property.
Right?
You
can point to all the bad signings and stuff like that, or like, you know, bad investments like Musrati and Mucci, whether you think those are bad investments or not. You can point to all of that, but that did not put us 300 million in the hole 15 years ago, you know. And that is and Beşiktaş right now is the single biggest thing holding this club back is in our interest payments and bank payments. Right now, 50% of all the money coming into the club is going straight to the banks, and
I think you could say that like that foundation that was set then has led to the desperation that's sort of led to all of the sort of poorly half thought out transfers. Yeah. We need someone. We got, you know, that desperation is all a product of how poorly we are standing financially.
The reason Beşiktaş is forced to always look towards quote unquote cheaper, short term, more expensive on the back end signings in free transfers and stuff like that. For years now, we have been the bargain bin shoppers who try to sign players who barely cost anything, but then cost a lot in terms of wages. And I think one of the big reasons for that is because we don't have the cash to pay transfer fees. You know? Yeah. Kartal, what's your opinion currently? I know you're a little bit torn as well. Mainly, I think you're leaning towards Adali, but it's mainly because of Hussein Yücel, how he portrays himself, I guess.
I'm leaning towards Serdar Adali. Reason being is I think Hussein Yücel was just not professional and is a bit of a clown in general, despite having the money. I mean, even just there, yesterday he was on a TV show and he said that we're shocked about receiving an offer for Al Masrati. Like that, like what president makes a comment like that? You're
Yeah.
devaluing.
But I have noticed though, Kartel, that very often with these quotes, they read a lot worse on paper than they were actually coming out of their the person's mouth. I know.
That's right.
I didn't watch this interview, so I don't know if it was as bad as the quote makes it seem. But there were some other quotes over the last couple of days that looked bad when you saw them on Twitter, but when you actually heard him say it, they weren't so bad at all. So I kind of feel.
Surely you guys are both married, so you or the equivalent. But you guys have surely been in those arguments where your wife or your partner will say, like, they'll pick out a quote that sounds terrible from like a whole thing that you said, and they'll repeat that. It's like, you can't keep pointing to that one thing I said because it was within a much larger context that was like less harsh. And I feel like that's kind of what happens when you pick these quotes from I mean anyone, and Serdar Adali too. I've done the same. I've said, what a stupid thing for him to say, and then you kind of hear the larger context, like. You take the sentence out of the paragraph and it looks horrible, but then you read the whole paragraph. It's like, oh, okay, I guess
Carlito,
it wasn't as extreme.
Carlito in the group chat on the WhatsApp community was putting some of those quotes in context, and like when he did that, I was like, oh, okay, that doesn't seem so bad. Obviously, he still said stuff like, like for example, the whole thing about Endure. We just signed Endure simply because of the promise that the president made that we would have a cooperation with Paris Saint-Germain. Yeah, I mean, I don't think he's lying. He shouldn't be saying that, but yeah, it's probably true, unfortunately. But that...
Yeah, but I mean, then you expect to get a performance out of that player.
I know. Yeah.
I don't know how much.
I don't see this guy as a leader for Beşiktaş. He can have all the money he wants, but see if he doesn't know how to use that money, it's going to cause problems. I mean. On one end, we've got Serdar Adali saying, "Oh, I'm going to invest in 18 to 24-year-old prospects," and then on the other side, you've got Hussein Yücel saying, "My dream's to sign Mohamed Salah."
Yücel also said he would invest in young players in January now as well. That's also what Yücel said.
Hussein Yücel saying, "I'm going to bring a director of football depending on the coach and if he wants it." Adali saying, "It's not the first thing I'm going to do," which I'm not happy with that either. I think that should be one of those things done. But he says we will get to that. It will happen. So like,
yeah, but
for me, the saying that we're going to bring one, although it's later than I'd hope, is better than saying, "Oh, I'm going to bring one," depending on the coach.
Yeah, I definitely don't think that the coach should be the decider whether. I mean, it should be the other way around.
Well, I guess but you do have coaches who like to operate in that role too, where they're more hands-on with transfers. So I mean, if he has like. Jurgen Klopp in mind, sure, yeah, he can come in and take on both responsibilities. But yeah, I mean, given who he's linked with, I don't know that that's the right idea.
No, this is true.
Should we do some comments?
Yeah, please. Let's get off Alish's thought first.
So the reason Yücel said that, I think, is because Sergen said on air that he won't work with a sporting director.
Yeah. But that
makes sense.
Yeah, that's probably why he said it.
I also think. Adali is saying, "Look, we're going to compete. We're going to build a team that's going to compete, but we're not going to splash out in any big stars for like a year and a half, just to get the finances." And he's.
I didn't like that.
I didn't like that either because I don't think that should be a policy for a year and a half. I think you don't need okay, Rafa is. I don't know if you consider Rafa a big star. I think he's I think you need to go for really good football players. But they don't necessarily. Rafa is not a big name. Chiro is a big name.
In an ideal world, I don't want any of these populist transfers anymore, unless it's someone like a Rafa, who's coming off like a career year or still close to the top level.
Yeah. Ideally, a few years younger, like 28, 29.
I don't like these populist transfers, but at least Adal is saying I'm going to stop doing that until we can sort out the ship, which I'd rather not have it at all. But Yücel saying we're going to get ourselves out of this hole by spending money.
But like for example, Onuachu, I don't think that's a star transfer, but I think that's a real. I would not, maybe not next summer or whatever, but like when Trabzon signed Onuachu, for me that's like I would prefer that over Icardi.
Yeah.
I would prefer that over Icardi. I definitely think we should I don't know what he means by stars. Because in Turkey,
it's too subjective
in
of a
Turkey,
term.
they call everyone a star, you know. And like as soon as they're foreign and they have a little bit of a career, like they're a star. I don't think we should.
But also,
Yeah, sorry.
here. Sorry, I just before we get too far off of this topic too, like I think when you look at the squad as it's currently comprised, by saying that you're not going to make any major investments to this squad, it means you're basically letting this squad sort of dissipate into into the transfer world. Which
he's not going to make any signings, Sinan. He's going to sign players, and he's actually said that he's going to get sponsors for the signings we're going to make in January. So it's got no financial impact on the club.
But I think that suggests that he's saying that like he's giving up on this visage of what we're currently trying to put out, and I don't think that you should. I think you look at what we have, and there are enough pieces in place that like we shouldn't start over again. I think that would be a waste of time, and it would set us too far back. And I think when you look at what we have, we just need the ability to put some creativity on the field. We need a winger, obviously, maybe two. I don't think we're lacking so much that we need to kind of like, okay, we're going back to like rebuild. We're starting over again from scratch.
Well, there is something
I think that would actually end up being deleterious. I think we actually would hurt ourselves financially because we'd end up having to reinvest in players that we maybe don't need to replace. Yeah. So that's my only.
I don't know if you guys agree.
He didn't say he's going to sell everyone, but
no, he didn't. That was even denied.
But by saying you're not going to put in a star, right? It suggests like because what we need right now is like a creative fulcrum. I don't know what you call that if it's a star, but
maybe what if he's going to sign a 23-year-old creative fulcrum? Would you not be up for that?
Of course, but
I don't know.
Where's he going to find it?
Maybe the second winger. I wouldn't mind a 23-year-old.
A sponsor that's going to cover it in January, and it's not going to have any financial impact on the club. Even better.
Yeah, but the problem.
How's he going to find that, right? Didn't Hussein Yücel just do the whole thing about how he couldn't get people with money to invest? Like, it's just hard for me to believe that he's going to have that.
Yeah, but maybe those people are more willing to work with Adali than they are to work with Yücel. I don't know. I'm just speculating here, but
yeah, because Yücel, whether it's his fault or not, his reputation's been really badly affected. Yeah. It's just that recency bias, obviously. Yeah. He's been on failing balls in the past, but it's that recency bias where Yücel's got a bad reputation just now, and Adali just now has got that reputation as a guy that always puts his hand under the rock, as they say in Turkish.
But
let me just look, guys. I want to go on the record here because I remember you guys were both far more, I think, open to Mourinho, right? And from day one, for me, Hussein Yücel has been problem.
I was the one that debated against Mourinho, and you actually were swayed by Karen then. So I was the most anti-Yücel guy.
I didn't go on the record as saying I was swayed.
Roll the tape.
Look,
get that shit up, and I'm sure you were swayed.
What I said was I can still go either way, but I was swayed by the idea that he could like influence the backroom ref
and the referees and. He could.
But what I'll say though is I always said that Yücel was massively unprofessional for throwing that out there, and he took a swing and a miss on a few things early on that was like, this guy's not professional. This was a big mistake by Hassan Arat to bring him on. But the reason I mentioned that is it takes me a lot to say that I think that he should be the next president. Like, and again, I'm talking about for 6 months. And again, ideally we'd have a better candidate. Somebody else would step up who has a more modern vision for like what an organization needs to look like. I think. Yeah,
I don't even know if Adali is that bad of a candidate. It's just I don't really know what I want. I kind of need to see what he's gonna do. I feel like we've been burned so badly on Arat. Like to me, it's like okay, I'll just wait and see what happens, and maybe. I
feel like no one in the community really trusts anyone anymore after what happened.
Yeah. Exactly.
That's so sad.
But that trust was gone already before that as well, I think, Kartal, because going into the elections, I very much remember having this feeling of you can't trust anyone in like they're all just gonna come and line their own pockets. That's all what they're coming for. And
maybe I was clearly very naive, but I personally believed in that.
I did as well. I think if you remember, we were calling it like the candidate going against the status quo or going against the
the anti-establishment.
Yeah, exactly, the
candidate, yeah.
anti-establishment candidate, because I think we were all kind of the opinion that the established names or whatever, they're all just like there to scratch each other's backs. And I think we were hoping for Ara to be the outside. He was portrayed as that as well, as like the guy that everyone else was against, like the old guard, if you will.
We all sucked up, man. We all believed it.
Yeah.
But to be honest, like that's still why I'm going towards UCL. I mean, we know Adal has been a part of this club for all of these eras.
You're saying UCL was part of Fikret Orman's board as well?
No,
Sure,
I don't
but,
think he was part of the board. He sponsored the Kagawa deal, but he was not
I don't know
on
if
the
it's
board,
part of
I don't
the-
think.
I'm pretty sure they
He
watched
helped
him.
the transfer.
I don't think he was on the board.
But Adali has been, and he's been.
Yeah, he was
again,
part of
the worst. Like for me, Yildirim Demiroden is the type of guy who, if I speak my true mind on that matter,
You're gonna have to go to
I
a
would
court
probably-
in Trabzon, yeah.
yeah, I would have to pay a huge fine and show up in a court. So I'd rather not. But that's why I'm opposed to Adali.
So
Comments,
they just
shall we?
So he actually was a member of the board from 2018 to 2019.
Okay, I guess that was then maybe... Was that when we signed Kagawa?
Yeah, because we signed Kagawa in January 2019.
Okay. Why was he a member of the board
So-
for like a year?
Yeah, that's weird, right? Like a temporary member.
Yeah.
That's what it says on Transfer Market.
Okay.
We hit up the temp agency to fill out the board. Okay.
Maybe that's when Ahmed Nurchebi left. Wasn't that around that time?
Yeah. There was some weird drama there, right? Towards
Yeah.
the end. Anyway, Grey Wolf, if the players gave up, then we might as well bench them and play younger players who would be hungry no matter what. Sorry, Grey Wolf, I'm fixing your English as I read these. I hope you don't mind. Galatasaray's club culture is, and now I'm really going to edit here, is built on a winning mindset. The culture in Beşiktaş needs to change.
Yeah, but
In this
it's
direction.
built on
Then he says,
win,
bring clap.
win at all costs mindset, and that is not necessarily. I mean, that's like
Yeah,
you
I
know,
agree. Yeah,
it's a
they're willing to bend the rules
yeah.
too
It's
much, in our opinion.
I definitely think that
Yeah.
we need to get out of. I definitely think we're kind of in the loser territory, starting to get in that Fenerbahce territory.
Yeah.
But Beşiktaş has always been the club who wins, but wants to win the right way. And I don't think we need to move away from that. I still think we need to be the club that wants to win the right way. And I just think we need to try and find a way to do that.
Yeah.
And that's probably by bringing in professional people and letting them do their jobs and build a football team.
Yeah.
And
That's the
Yeah.
only way to do it, but unfortunately that doesn't seem possible.
But Cartel, you saw how that went, man. You can't get the second outsider in before the first one has already been undermined.
The guy didn't have the space to do his job properly because he had
I agree.
breathing down his neck, and that's on his
know.
Arad by not giving him that space to do that.
I agree. Fully agree. That was a
Give the
huge
guy,
mistake.
if you create a environment where that guy can do his job properly, it can happen. And maybe Brad Friedel wasn't the right guy because he's never done that before. We can find someone that is, like maybe a Davy Nuzik.
But that's also
Maybe
the
Brad Friedel was the guy, and it was just the atmosphere and the environment was so bad that he couldn't do his job properly.
But the problem as well is, Cartel, that Beşiktaş are a club who we do not have the foundations to bring up someone who can do that job from our own ranks. So we always need to go outside the club to find them. And the problem is that we need to go outside the club, but we do not have the ability to sign the top of the line people, to sign, like the top sporting directors, the top coaches, the top scouts, the top everything. We don't have that in us. There's like, for example, with Bayer Leverkusen, like you have that Devin Özek, for example, but they brought him up themselves, like he ran through the ranks there. He rose through the ranks.
Realistically, that's the best we are going to be able to do.
Yeah.
Maybe bringing a number 2 guy from a successful project.
But the problem
There is a risk we need to take.
But it's always, we are always in a position where we right now at least where we're left gambling, we're left hoping and praying.
But look, guys, you know what though? Like, take Brad Friedel as a perfect example, because he was accessible. He gave interviews, and he never said anything that was like objectionable. You know, and one genuinely feels that if he'd been given actual freedom to do what he'd set out to do, he probably would have done a better job than what he was ultimately allowed to.
I also don't think you can judge a sporting director on 4 months' work. A sporting director,
right? Yeah, who's constantly under siege the whole
and
time.
on top
too,
of that,
right?
a sporting director, like the first job Friedel had was set up a network and start scouting and stuff like that. Like you okay, if you are an established sporting director who already has a database and all that kind of stuff, then you can potentially come in with a list of 30, 40, 50 players. But Friedel, like you said, never worked in that capacity before, and he came in, and it's also what he said in his interview on Equal TV. I think no, it wasn't Equal TV; it was something else. But he said since I started the job until now, we have accumulated a list of 750 players. But he also emphasized that during the transfer period, they didn't have that list yet. They didn't have 750 players on that list yet. And that is something that takes time, and you can't judge a sporting director on one transfer window, or on 2, or even on 3. Like, I think a sporting director needs at least 2 seasons or so before you start seeing how that network is developing. And on top of that, the person needs some funds as well. They need way to, and like sacking Friedel was like.
That was the sign of everything.
I think that was like a terrible decision. I don't understand. Like, Arad goes out, but before he goes out, he takes out the 2, like, the problem summit. But you also...
It's like those asshole refs that give a yellow card to 2 players just by default, although one of them obviously started a fight and was like way more aggressive. You know what I mean? Like, and like, imagine you're the guy who's been chosen for this job, and then Samet Aybaba keeps coming in and making all this trouble. Like, who the fuck is this little guy? Like, you must be wondering constantly, like, why is this guy trying so hard to undermine me? Why do I have to fight with this guy about every decision I'm trying to make? What is happening?
The narrative in the media was already that Friedel was earning money on transfers and doing this and doing that, and like he was like our own fans, like Bülent Uslu and co, like those people who are supposed to be wanting the best for the club, like they are themselves putting those malicious rumors out there, and unless they have proof, which is not the word of Samet Aybaba, but actual proof, have it on paper or something, they need to not do that. They have too much influence.
There's just people that are like naive and think, oh, this guy's our legend, why would he lie? I think that's I don't think they've got malicious intent, but I think they've got that mindset where this is your guy.
It might not be malicious intent, but it's a malicious result nonetheless.
The result is malicious. Yeah, exactly.
Oh, I agree with that, man. I agree with that.
Anyway, more comments. Umar Gunal says, call him Hussein Martin Luther Yücel, because all he said so far is that he has a dream. I mean, look, that's what they've both done so far. You can't. That's sort of what they're doing. That's the role. It's an election, right? Like, all they can sort of speak on is what they want to do.
It's a dumb thing to say, also because of the age. Like, Salah is 33, if I'm not mistaken. So, like, if you would realistically be looking to sign him, it would have to be within the next year or so. His contract is coming up at the end of the season. At Liverpool, they're not extending him. So you would imagine that the Saudi club is going to offer him a ridiculous amount of money, because they were willing to offer a ridiculous amount of money last January, and he's been good this season. So I think it's an unnecessary statement, and that kind of just...
Definitely
I think that just gives people who are already not in favor of Yücel like more ammo to say, look at this guy, you can't take him seriously.
It's like Mourinho all over again.
He's got his head in the cloud. He's a dreamer. That's, I think, legitimately what Adali said, something along those lines. I think if the first thing I would do if I was in Yücel's shoes was I would hire a media coach.
Yeah. He needs media training.
Like, I mean, the whole Jose Mourinho thing at the beginning of the season, like, supposedly he was drinking rake and calling into different shows. Like, you can't do that. You can't do that.
No, you can't. I mean, yeah, it's fine,
mean,
but also sad.
I think the guy's likable, but I don't think I mean, I would not be. You know what? I'll put this out there. Hot take. I would not be against Hüseyin Yücel buying the club and owning the club, as long as he then puts football people in charge to run the club for him.
Yeah.
But in the president era, with the Congress and all that, and how that functions with the elections every 3 years, and how involved board members are going to try and get that next election win and whatever. I think in that context, Hüseyin Yücel probably isn't the best potential president, because he's not a football guy. And I think if he would own the club, I think that would be different, because it looks like a very genuine fan who really has a lot of ambition. But I think if he would be able to hand over the reins to professional people, he could be a great president or owner. But the problem is, I don't see him doing it in this context of the presidency.
Continuing. Finnish kebab. Umer Granada feels like 10 losses because we dropped points against these ridiculous mediocre teams like ADS, Kasim Pasha, Göztepe, Hatay, Antep, Maccabi.
And we lost a bunch in Europe as well, so it's probably...
Yeah, he said Maccabi.
Four losses in the league, but you also have Frankfurt, you have Maccabi, you have Ajax, you have Bodo Glimt, so that's terrible. 8 losses already this season.
But I think he was doing the ones that Gio were responsible for. Although, no, because Adana Demirspor. No, okay, whatever. I don't even know. I think we're crossing points here. And then Umer said, it's not even a sentence. Semi is the least of our words. Oh, it's about that. At least nobody criticized my Turkish. I'll take points there. Carlito, good to see you. He wrote, lost for words, don't have much to say. Thanks for the therapy sesh. One of many to come. Well, let's hope.
I mean, maybe...
I said let's hope not, but I don't think we can even bother hoping not.
Do you guys know, like, the Galatasaray podcast? Like, the Lions Den podcast, Sinan? Like, they stopped making podcasts. And Galatasaray now going to win the 3rd title in a row. Maybe we should stop making podcasts.
Yeah, maybe we're the problem. Are we the baddies?
Maybe we're the reason.
That's great. Jesus, the comments have really... Umer has become a negative Nancy on the job. I think he's being influenced, but... Yeah, I know. Atsil John, my brain is telling me to boycott football, but unfortunately I'm a teenager. My seasonal depression is just becoming Beşiktaş's form in November through December. Hey, look, guys, look, I don't know how you typically spend your Saturday or Sunday evening, afternoon, and whenever it is, but
it's Monday, bro.
It's still better to watch Beşiktaş than, doing chores, right? Like there's still some value to this.
I was looking forward to this game, and it's like...
Me too, I really would. And I'm looking forward to the next one, man. I don't know about all this stuff, guys.
I'm dreading that Alanya game.
You're dragging it too far.
I think that Alanya game's gonna be horrible. Like, yeah.
Oh, I'm not excited. I'm not looking forward to how it's gonna go. I just, as far as like how I'm gonna spend my time, I still want to watch Beşiktaş. It doesn't and it's not like I want to watch someone else. Like
you definitely have do you have a basement, Sian, with like stuff and like a little red ball to put in your mouth and?
No, not that I'm aware of. No, I don't. Irgendwas mit games writes, Necip for president. He can play every position, even president. No comment. Umer Gano, don't worry, Cartwell. We were all fooled by Arat's lies. Like, I'm still trying to give him the benefit of the doubt with his illness, man. Umer again. Oh, man, we got a lot of Umer. Umer and Sally, it becomes a negative parade. Guys, you're not talking about the super app enough. Okay, yeah, we all know where that's going. Think of us like a lottery winner. We spend on with no income. That spend eventually ends. But if we still have no income by then, we're... Yeah, okay. Just opened career mode to sign Danny Welbeck for $8 million. Do I need to keep reading these guys? Weirdly, also got a call from the Beşiktaş board for a job opportunity. No, you didn't. Sally, in my opinion, we should close the club. There is a housing crisis. We can build houses on the club's grounds. Make some use of the pathetic thing called the sports club. Umer says, You want to build houses on cursed land?
Yeah, the Syrians won't be happy with that, I think.
And Sally goes, "You're right. We can give it to Gala for free.
Yes.
Might give them some deserved bad
They
luck."
give it to Gala for free, and then they can sell it to the government, get it back for free, and sell it again.
Maybe that's an end point for this episode. I don't think there's much more to add.
Isn't there more?
No, that's it.
You want to build...
You said, Umar says, "You're wildin'." I don't know what he said yes to, but it's probably to Sally, I guess.
I don't know, man.
I don't think we should donate our stuff, even if it's cursed. I don't think we should shut down our club. I think we're going a little
We should have
overboard.
just sold out, given the government the land, taken the free stadium from the government and its government sponsorship and all that stuff, and maybe now we should have become the poster
Beşiktaş
the poster child of the governing body of the country, and then maybe we would be winning back to back titles as well or something.
We're going Beşiktaş Belediyespor.
Sell your soul for a championship.
I'm not mad, Umar. Relax. I just, I don't want to succumb to this degree of negativity. It's just, because look, like we're all in agreement that this is about as low as it can get.
Yeah.
We keep looking for how we can quantify how bad it's gotten. If it's worse than Maccabi or
keep the comments coming, man. It's all part of the process to the therapy process. Venting.
We thought we had the biggest, like the depths of the ocean last year, but now we've realised that
there's another ocean that's even
Exactly.
deeper.
Well, no, we found the Mariana Trench. I think we're finally the first humans to get down there and to see it firsthand.
We are seeing the stuff that came off the comets now, like the light.
Yeah, those little fish that have like the light.
Yeah.
The fish that have like the light on the front. Because they're so deep down there that like they have to create their own. Yeah, that's basically where we are. But it's look, guys. What is the expression? You gotta experience the dark days to have the lighter ones. I don't have the artful.
You have to know adversity to experience true joy, right?
Bro,
Yeah,
I
exactly.
think we had enough adversity last year. We don't need any more. But it's just piling on at this point.
We got a little bit of joy this season, early in the season, and
For a moment, yeah, which made it harder.
the universe only wants to give it in little itty bitty bits.
The saving grace is we won 2 derbies this season. There you go. That's enough. That and like the Lugano game, that's enough happiness for us.
We'll always have that 5-0. We'll always have it. We
Oh, and I forgot this comment actually. Umar said, "I think I'm the reason we are losing so much. To be honest, I do so much hate watching. It's bound to come back as karma." I missed that comment, and I wanted to make sure we didn't lose that one completely. Maybe it is your fault, Umar.
It's Umar last week on all those Fenerbahce spaces when we beat them, like just going in there and feeding on their tears, and it's just come back as a boomerang in his face, and he's upset the cosmic odds. It's all his fault. Umar to blame.
Sally says, "Sinan, I am pretty sure we can reach new lows. We are Beşiktaş. We are a sorry ass
Yeah,
club."
I mean, we keep finding.
First of all, your club is Galatasaray, and second of all, this is why I'm not in the group chat anymore. You negative assholes. No, I'm kidding.
But I mean, we keep finding new lows.
I don't agree.
Like I think the literal title of this episode, I don't remember what I gave it because I'm already forgetting. But like I think I said something like Beşiktaş managed to find a new low. We just keep finding these new lows. Like just when you thought maybe like there's a little turning point, we just beat Fener in the derby, we tanked a little bit of confidence, and you know what? Losing away against Bodo Glimt with the team that we had, with so many players missing, that can happen. I don't even think we played that bad. We created a decent amount of chances. We're up against the champions of Norway, blah, blah, blah, blah, blah. And then you go and you play a team that hasn't won a single football match all season. For 6 months, they haven't won a single football match. All of their good footballers, other than a couple like Yusuf Sarre, are gone. They have been penalized by the TFF, given a -3, so they're essentially already relegated. They're on -1 point. They've scored 4 goals in, how many games are we in now? 16 games? 4 goals in 16 games. And somehow you managed to concede 2 goals in one match against a team that have scored 4 all season prior to that. So 33% of their goals this season have come against Beşiktaş. Somehow you manage to do that, and you lose against them on top of that as well. It's like that's I mean, I think the Maccabi thing is worse for the context.
It hits you different. It hits harder.
It hurts more, but this is a lower point simply because this is a team you should never, ever be losing to. This is a team
in a footballing. So this is the lowest point in a footballing sense, whereas I think Maccabi was the lowest point in a personal sense, right? Like, but you know, I don't know.
The lowest point of the season was when Maccabi scored and that guy fucking pointed to the Israeli flag and then I'm at the army. So that was the.
You guys, you don't even know the extent of it. There were kids on my daughter's soccer field who were wearing Maccabi shirts. I haven't seen them since, and I'm just waiting for when I have to hear if I come with my Beşiktaş shirt next time. The bullshit I'm gonna hear.
Just say, well, at least we're not taking part in genocide, man. Isn't it?
Yeah, no, yeah, right, yeah. That's probably what I'll end up defaulting to. No, I don't.
Sally, we already spent a lot of time talking about Masuaku, but I am perfectly willing to.
You're gonna have to go back and watch. You're gonna have to rewatch the first portion of the episode.
We've talked so much about Masuaku, man, this season. Like, I don't understand it. How is it possible this guy is still starting? And it's, Bakhtiar, he's not the answer, but he's definitely, at least he gives 100% and he cares. And he'll put his head in front of it. And you know what? I actually thought when he came on today, he looked decent. And I thought against both...
He's been good since he started coming on.
Against Bodo Glimt, he got a lot of criticism, especially for his second goal. But I think he gave a really, really good assist there. And I think he generally played a decent game. And he... You know what? Something... What annoys me is a big word, but like, I feel like Masuaku is slow as hell. I think if Masuaku was faster, he would be so much better. And the thing is, if you look at Bakhtiar when he's going up and down that side, like he's running like a madman. And Masuaku, it feels like it's always like at a walking pace, and he's trying to walk past players and then put it across, or he's trying to like get out of a situation with a dribble, but he never runs. It feels like he's scared to break his leg or something. And the problem is that that same mentality that he does in attack, where he's always trying to walk past people. That's how he defends as well, because he's like a snail. Everyone just with a little bit of explosiveness gets past him like he's not standing there. Like the way he got clowned so many times this season by a guy like Yusuf Sarre, who has a little bit of pace and a little bit of dribbling in him and a little bit of explosivity. Like those people get past Masuaku like he's not standing there all the time. It happens time and time again.
I don't remember if it was after the Bodo match or the one prior where he'd come in as a sub, but I remember, I think it was on air, I said, I think it was the first time that I've seen a left back in a Beşiktaş shirt close down and stop a cross before they could get it off, right? And so I don't even know if it's pace as much as it is that mentality, right? Like, you've got to be aggressive as a defender. You've got to try to cut out their opportunities. You got to prevent them before they can, because if you let that cross in, you allow for chaos, right? You allow for, even if you don't deserve to be scored against or whatever, you're still giving them an opportunity that you shouldn't.
It's way too easy for teams to get crosses in against us. Like, I feel like when we're playing or when we're attacking and we try to cross it, like it's always, oh no, he cut me off, I need to pass it back. Oh, and then it's always passing back. When teams are playing against us, they always find room to cross. Always. We never find that room.
Find lanes, yeah.
And when we do, it's like Masuaku, and then he is pushed out too much, and like it's. I mean, we have like a handful of good crosses this season, and I think almost all of them have come from Svensson, because he has a few assists, a few decent assists. I was watching Club Brugge against Genk yesterday, and in the first half there was a moment with Maxime de Kuiper and like he goes down the left and he lays it off perfectly, and the guy, well, he misses it, but like it's like what I wouldn't give for a fullback who can consistently do that. Like just lay it off, find someone in the box, present them with a goal on a silver platter. Like it's Masuaku, I don't think he does it ever. I don't think he's ever done it. And the problem is when he's on the pitch, we play over him a lot. It's like he's Gianni or Quaresma. We're constantly looking for him to put in crosses, and I don't understand why. Because his crosses are 95% of the time they're dog shit. He has the occasional good corner and stuff like that, and they'll have the occasional good cross. But like relative to the amount of crosses he attempts, it's not worth it. He's a really big part of the problem, I feel. But at this point, we've slipped so far already that all the positivity and all the positive energy has been sapped out of this team completely. There's nothing left anymore. And now we're just in the same situation as last season where we can't wait for the season to be over. And it's not even January.
Yeah.
What's Yusuf saying?
So Sally wanted to talk about Rafa choking. I'm not even sure necessarily what he means by that. Then which will happen earlier, grandkids or us having a good season?
I mean, I think it's obvious that Sarri's referring to the missed chance.
Which one?
Choking.
Again, he like this is now 3 games in a row against Fener, against Bodo, and against today against Adana. And every time he misses a really good opportunity. But at the same time, all 3 of those chances, today less so, today not as much, but the chance against Fener and the chance against Bodo are both chances he 100% creates for himself with his speed.
Cartel, do you mean the shot
and
that
his
was
ability?
saved today?
Yeah.
That's what Sarri is referring to.
And
Is that are people getting on him about that? It didn't stand out to me as like a mistake.
Sally says, how about Rafa choking again then? I just saw Mertes play a worldie at 37. Ridiculous. Put Rafa.
I'm sure you saw Mertens play.
Put Rafa in this Galatasaray team, and he scores 2 goals every game. Because the Galatasaray create. But Sally, this is what happens when you come in at the end of the show. But like, Galatasaray create. How many chances do Galatasaray create in a match? I'm gonna look at their statistics. So today we had 2 big chances. Let's see how many Galatasaray created today against Trabzonspor. And I'm only gonna count the big chances, not even. Let's see, Galatasaray 4-3, and then let's see stats.
Khan, Sally couldn't check in earlier. He was too busy watching Galatasaray play.
So today against Adana Demirspor, we create 2 big chances. Galatasaray creates 6 big chances. That's only big chances. Like Galatasaray are constantly creating chances. You will know this better than anyone because you watch them religiously, Sally. How many chances does Osimhen need to score? He gets like 3-4 chances per game. Let's see. Let's have a look at Osimhen and his XG. And I'm not saying, of course, you want Rafa to score some of those one-on-ones, of course. But the problem is, give him 2-3 chances a game. I'm pretty sure he scores. But like he's had these moments in the games recently, and he has this one chance, but that's it. So Osimhen has an expected goals of 6.97 and XG on target 7.40, and he has 7 goals. So he scores roughly exactly what you'd expect him to score. He's a striker, though.
And I'll be honest, at least Rafa's getting his shots on target. Like, remember when Semi had that chance earlier today and he skied it? At least he's getting them on target and forcing saves.
The goalkeepers are making good saves. Like, you can't say, like, oh, he puts it right at the goalkeeper or whatever. Like, first he, like, on the Bodo and the Fener chance, he runs 35 to 40 meters. And then against Fener, maybe it wasn't that far, but it was like 30 meters at least.
It was a good long run.
First he runs, 30, 40 meters. and then he still has to have the energy to put it past the goalkeeper, and the goalkeeper saves it or it gets cleared over the line of whatever. And again today, I think it was a good save. You can.
Yeah, it was a diving save.
You can blame Rafa for missing these chances, but why are we creating only one clear-cut goal-scoring opportunity in a game like this against Adana Demirspor? No,
I think we had more than one, but
but they were all clutch. They were all clutch chances and on corners and stuff. Where are our chances from open play? Why is Simi not ever? Why is Simi never going one-on-one with the goalkeeper? How many times have we seen him go one-on-one with the goalkeeper this season? Or Chiro?
You're spot on in general, bro. I just thought I'd say that we did create more today.
Yeah, but they're all like chances on corners or stuff like that. They're all like scrappy chances. They're not quality chances. The only quality chance we created today was Rafa's chance, and that's
arguably you could argue maybe Sari's as well. The one that
I don't remember the Sali chance that much. But like, I think it's very unfair to say Rafa is choking. Rafa is the one who's trying to put the team on his back, and who's like in the second half, he's the one who's pressing. He's the one who's until the very last dying second keeps going. Like Sali, you were doing the exact same thing to Jetson last year. You were doing the exact same thing to Jetson. You just picked this guy who is clearly one of the best, if not the best players on the team, who lacks quality around him, and then you blame him because he's the star or whatever, or he cost a lot of money or whatever, but he can't do it on his own, man. Like, you literally said in a group chat today, like Rafa trying to take on 60 players at once, but the problem is he has to do that because he doesn't get any help from his teammates almost. So, like, the only way for us to score goals is Rafa gets through a forest of 10 players.
For people who don't know about this group chat that these guys are in, Sally calls him an old fuck. He's saying it in jest. I hope nobody's offended on Khan's behalf.
Oh no, I'm not offended. He calls me old man.
No, not you. I'm sure you're not. You're used to it. Hearing from these guys, for people who aren't aware of the context, I don't think Sally's being as aggressive as it appears.
We are friends. We have known each other for I have known him since he was 12 years old or something, and now he's 9. And now he's 19 or something, I think.
I thought he was 14. I would say.
So he calls me old. He calls me grandpa all the time. But I don't know, man. I feel it's so unfair to blame Rafa. I think if you put half a decent team around Rafa, I think Rafa walks into both Fenerbahce and Galatasaray without skipping a beat, and he would be their best player. I really, truly believe that. But we knew going in, this is the type of player Rafa is. This is why at Benfica he was loved, but not adored, if that makes sense. Because, he'll get you 13, 14 goals a season. Under normal circumstances, he probably won't get that for us this season. He'll get you 10 goals, 10 assists every season. But he will also miss... if you look at Rafa's statistics at Benfica, his XG is always higher than the amount of goals he scores. And I am 100% certain, if I look up Rafa right now, his XG is going to be higher than the amount of goals he has. But that is just the type of player he is. And that has to do with the fact of how many goal-scoring opportunities he gets into. He is really good at making runs in behind the defense and finding those pockets of play and making himself available to receive those passes. That is just one of his biggest talents. Unfortunately, he's not the most clinical finisher. At the same time, though, I think it's not like he's missing tap-ins. If he would be missing tap-ins left and right, if you look at the chances that Osimhen has missed this season already for Galatasaray, I would argue he misses bigger chances than Rafa does. Or I'll say easier chances. But the problem, it's not really a problem, but the difference is Galatasaray consistently create chances for him. They create 3-4 goal-scoring opportunities every game for that guy. How many chances do we create for Chiro? And in our team, the only player who consistently, match after match after match, gets at least one good chance is Rafa. because he has that talent. And Chiro and Simi, who are, I think we can all agree, are good football players, they don't have that. By the way, Rafa, XG 6.12 with 3 goals in the league. So that's that's pretty low. But that's what I expected.
So everyone's still hitting on everyone, I see. Not much has changed.
What's everyone saying?
He's calling him handsome, smart, and super. Poor. I guess that means everyone's still unsuccessful in his attempts with the ladies. I'm sorry to hear that, everyone. Let's wrap this up, guys. Let's before we succumb to the peanut gallery over here.
No, but I mean, I just compare it, Sally, because I think it's been a problem since day one. Even when we were all thinking we were playing good football, we were not creating chances for our striker. And if you compare it to Galatasaray or to Fenerbahce, hell, compare it to current day Trabzonspor, they all create chances for their strikers. We don't. And you could, if it was just Chiro, then you could argue, oh, okay, but maybe Chiro is the problem. But it's the exact same thing when Simi plays. It's not like, and it's not like Simi. I mean, it's not like Simi is 35 years old and can't move, right? And hell, I mean, if you've watched Chiro play this season, I think he's pretty damn mobile.
Well, it's like we were saying, Con. Like for the first maybe 10 minutes of the game today, we looked like men playing against boys, but we still only created one chance, right? Like in our best form, we're not creating shit, you know. And it's only when we're like a goal or two behind and desperate that you suddenly see them like make some attempts on goal, but then that's what I mean. If you had like somebody like Yusuf Sarri, who by no stretch of the imagination I think is the solution, but even Yusuf Sarri in this Beşiktaş team would add so much. He would contribute so much, and he would also contribute undoubtedly a lot of frustration because he would miss a bunch of chances. Because Yusuf Sarri is just like Rafa, just like Kerem. He's the type of player who has that speed, that explosiveness, that ability to take on someone and beat his man and consistently get himself in good positions, and then unfortunately miss quite a few of them. That's also why Yusuf Sarri is playing in the Turkish Super League and not in La Liga or something. But that's what we miss, because even when we're at full strength and Rashica is playing, how many times does Rashica get past his man in a game?
Almost zero.
Exactly. So we just have too much issues. I think we have a half-decent skeleton of a team. If everyone is fit, I think we have really good foundations to build further upon. Yeah, the problem is how much is going to be left of that after January or after the summer, because the players who... Yeah?
I want to... Sorry, can't interrupt, but I want to make a bit of an analogy. Like, see, you're saying about some solid foundations. You see, because we haven't finished building the house, do you not think that's maybe caused some erosion and damage to those good foundations you built?
We haven't put a roof on it, and the wood and our foundations are made out of wood and they're rotting because of the rain.
Yeah. Do you not think that could be quite true though? Because, like, for example, I think Udokai, for example, was a great signing, but
I agree.
He's been under a lot of fire in the media recently.
And why? Yeah. He hasn't even been playing the last. Yeah,
but that's going to affect that guy mentally, and then when he returns, is he going to be able to?
But Gagal, it's not even the media; it's also our own fans. I feel like they.
I was going to say that the rot starts at home.
I feel like they want players to fail sometimes. Like with Udokai, I don't think he has played a single bad match, and I think he's been a great signing. And he's missed the last couple of games, and only now are you hearing people criticize him when he's not playing.
Yeah, which is...
I mean, even the stuff you're hearing about Rafa Silva now, you know where it's coming from. Right? People are trying to undermine Hussein Yücel because they probably support another candidate, whatever it is. So people are kind of gunning at the one thing he might have done well, which was bring in a guy of that ability.
See, my one defense of those people, though, is, like, see at this point, when you see the contribution, like, at this moment with this half-built squad, it's not looking like it's worth 6 million.
Yeah, but there's a big.
A great point on another show is that no player.
I don't know if you could really make that argument though, Cartel, because I think he's shown enough that you can very clearly see that if he was surrounded by just a little bit more talent, he'd probably be, giving us a higher yield for sure.
You can definitely make the argument that in our current situation, for us, Rafa isn't worth that. If you put him in the context of Galatasaray or Fenerbahce, 100% he'd be worth that money.
That's exactly what I'm saying, bro.
Yeah,
That's what
but the problem is fans aren't saying that. They're just saying, oh, he's choking. Look at Sai. Oh, he's choking. No, they're not saying he's clearly a good football player, but our team is too shit and doesn't... There's no point in having him when our team is this shit, because what's the point in paying somebody 6 million if you're going to be playing for 5th place? And that would be 100% a correct criticism. But saying he's choking or acting like he's not potentially the best player in the Super League, he's easily top 3. Like, I don't think there's any debate on that. Like, who's better than Rafa in the Super League?
The only question you have to ask yourself is, would our rivals not be thrilled if they had him? And I think
they would both. Yeah. If they had the opportunity, there's been some Twitter rumors recently, or people asking, if Fener would offer 20 million or if Galatasaray would offer 30 million, would you sell Rafa to them? I 100% guarantee you that a Galatasaray or Fenerbahce fan who watches Beşiktaş, not one that only looks at stats or whatever, like one who actually watches Beşiktaş, I 100%, I guarantee you Galatasaray fans would take him over Mertens and would Rafa would be the star there.
Yeah, sure.
Osimhen would be the star because 100 million blah blah blah blah blah, but Rafa would be the best player on that team. And the same thing if he played for Fener, he would be the best player on. In fact, Fener, I think if they would have Rafa right now, they would have everything they needed. Because I think one of the biggest things they're missing at the moment is a scoring attacking midfielder, which they don't have. Because Szymanski has completely stopped scoring goals since December 2023.
Yeah.
Any more comments?
That's it.
Alrighty.
That's
I think
it.
we're gonna finish it on that note. Then we still have the Adana Sport game before we head into well-deserved January break and the elections. We will definitely still be doing. Obviously we'll be covering the Adana Sport game, and then we'll definitely during the down periods, we will at least still be talking about the elections. We'll be talking hopefully about good transfers. And other than that, definitely go and check out patreon.com/Beşiktaş for a weekly VIP podcast. It is going to be much easier, I think, especially given the holidays coming up. Some people will be celebrating Christmas. I definitely think you celebrate Christmas with your family, Sinan. Kartel, I don't know if you celebrate Christmas.
Oh, of course, man. Yeah. I was brought up as a Catholic by my mom.
Okay, I celebrate Christmas too, so it might be a little bit difficult with visiting family and stuff like that to line up our schedules to do a live show, but there will 100% be VIP podcasts. So go and check out patreon.com/Beşiktaş podcast. The first 7 days are free. After that, the first month for only 50 cents. 50 cents. That's... Can you still buy chai, a glass of chai for 50 cents?
Maybe in India.
For the longest time, the cafes my dad goes to in Belgium, chai was 50 cents. I don't think after...
I was thinking Indian chai.
I don't think nowadays chai is still 50 cents. I don't know, but for one Turkish tea, for the price of one Turkish tea, you can gain access for a full month to the Black Eagles podcast VIP on Patreon. Go and check that out. And support the podcast, but also get some additional Beşiktaş content in the meantime. Something to listen to on your commute to or from work every week. And I'm trying to line up our schedule with Kartal this week to talk a little bit more about all the stuff Hüseyin Yücel has been saying, all the stuff Sela Adale has been saying, and all that kind of stuff. So go and check out our Patreon page. And support the podcast. Other than that, I don't really have anything else to say. So, do you guys have any closing statements?
I'll let Cartel go first, since I obviously have the one.
Yeah, man. Adana Demirspor next week. We're going up against Sami Orlo, who's been a tough opponent for us.
A thorn in our side.
In the last 4 games. Hopefully, we can turn that around and beat him for once. But
Would be the first time, I think. I think he played us 5 times and he beat us 4 times, right?
I expect a victory. No, I do not. I hope for one, of course. So we need that.
You'll definitely be watching too,
Hopefully.
most importantly.
We can turn that hope into a W, man, because we really need this W to close out the year and go into the Christmas break. So remember, guys, man, always stay with Beşiktaş, even on the bad days, man.
İyi günde, kötü günde.
That's it.
That's right.
And
That's
even
right.
though it's bad days right now, guys, there's no better time than now to become a Patreon member. I know I'm being a little bit of a salesman here, but it's really true. We've got the elections coming up, we've got the transfer period coming up, and we've got a new coach coming up as well, most likely. There's so much to talk about in the next 30 or so days. There's going to be so much to talk about. So sign up to our Patreon now, become a member, get access to that VIP podcast for more Beşiktaş content on top of our weekly live shows. And that's it for me.
Well, I'm proud of myself for not being riled up by attempts in the chat. Saturday at 11 a.m. next weekend, I have Adana Demirspor. I don't know what time it is for you guys. I think it's the same as this week, right? Early, quite early in the evening. So, stay tuned for that. Try to get your meal lined up so that, you're not scrounging around for it mid-match. Besides that, do I even want to say it this week? All right, fine. Let's go, Beşiktaş! Peace out. I had a cat on my lap and it just sprawled out. It wasn't ready for that. Peace out, everyone. And of course, as always, thank you, Özkan Zerzavati, Atijan Malak, who's a little quiet in the comment section, but always appreciated. Paul O'Connor, Nathan Davis, Dara, the Irishman, hence the 1 and a 2 and a 3, Vargas, Keith Gregory, and of course the indomitable Dutch Eagle. Peace out, everyone. See you next week.